Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Naruto, Sign in the Shadow clone at the beginning of Konoha. Chapter 21. Of course, it's not Sengoku Sharingan. But, God, are you kidding me? Naruto Uzumaki looked at himself in the mirror, and in his blood-red pupils there were only circles for hooking the moon. What's happening here? Gyuyu is gone. Is it possible that one Gyuyu's Sharingan is not the lowest, and there are 0 Gyuyu's Sharingan? Anyway, after experiencing such a great sadness, in the end, it turned out to be a reverse improvement. He also didn't get the anti-curse buff. As for that, it's too outrageous. The situation in front of him was completely beyond his cognition. He couldn't help asking, "System, what's going on?" Reminder: the host can view the item introduction. Hearing this, Naruto Uzumaki opened the system panel. Second 2-color contact lenses Sharingan. After wearing it, you can have the Shueiji Limit Sharingan, which is currently a Kaleidoscope Sharingan, which can be merged into an Eternal Kaleidoscope Sharingan by transplanting other people's Kaleidoscope Sharingan. Kaleidoscope. Naruto Uzumaki's brain crashed immediately. He never thought that the black, hollow circle in his eyes turned out to be a kaleidoscope. Good guy. Naruto direct good guy. A mere D-level illusion can allow him to open the Kaleidoscope Sharingan, even if he knows it is a card bug, but this bug is too exaggerated. Shan Gyuyu directly upgraded to a kaleidoscope. Such an operation, he dared not even think about it. But if you think about it carefully, Sharingan can be opened and evolved through strong emotional stimulation. After experiencing the pain of losing a loved one, it evolves into a Kaleidoscope Sharingan. In the illusion, he witnessed the pain of death with his own eyes, but it was the pain caused by his own death in his previous life to his parents. This pain almost wiped out his entire mind, making him live in guilt and self-blame. It is reasonable for such a great sadness to be able to obtain the Kaleidoscope Sharingan. As for why Sasuke can't improve so much, this is also very simple. The reason lies in Sasuke himself. When Sasuke lost his parents and clansmen, he was only 5 years old. He didn't feel the love brought by the family at all, and he didn't feel so much pain after losing. His only pain is that he doesn't understand that Itachi killed the whole clan. It's just pure anger. Unlike him, he deeply felt the nurturing grace of his parents for more than 20 years. If we talk about the major tragedies in life, the white-haired person sending the black-haired person is definitely on the list. After thinking everything through, he opened the system panel again. The Kaleidoscope Sharingan will not only greatly strengthen the original Sharingan's ability, but also add instinctive skills. You know, Kishimoto once said that the Kaleidoscope Sharingan is the strongest eye of the sky and the earth-shattering pupil technique that can see through the 3 realms. Kaleidoscopic Sharingan natal ability, binocular ability, duplicate, unique. Any technique including blood succession limit and blood succession elimination can be reproduced. After choosing to reproduce, his eyes can permanently cast the replicated technique. Warm reminder, each of the 2 eyes can re-engrave one type of operation, but it will be unique after re-engraving, and other operations cannot be reenacted. Please choose the host carefully. Susanoo. The power of God can only be unlocked by turning on the kaleidoscope. After being used, the huge chakra forms a humanoid shape to surround the host. The kaleidoscope will not be affected. Please use it with caution. Yasaka's Hook Jade. Long-range attack. Can throw the Hook Jade with the same pattern as Sharingan. Conditions of use: you need to open the full-body Susanoo. After reading all the ability introductions, Naruto Uzumaki still hasn't recovered. Similar to Susanoo and Yasaka's Gyuyu, he has known this technique for a long time, but his natal ability can be called a magic skill. It's an unlimited copy. It's too buggy. He can completely reproduce Itachi's pupil technique, so that the left eye can be red, and the right eye can be illuminated. You can also reenact Sasuke's Kabuto life, with Obito's Kamui, or go to Danzo to reenact other gods. This is just a replica of Sharingan. He can also find the owners of the blood succession boundary, and obtain the burst dun of Kara, Junmalu's corpse vein, boiling dun of the 5th Mizukage, magnetic dun of the 3rd Kazekage, Zumu dun, who was cultured from human cells, even found Onoki to obtain a blood successor to eliminate Chen dun. In addition, there are many special blood inheritance boundaries, which he couldn't think of for a while. No matter what kind of combination it is, it can be called a supernatural skill. It's a pity that each eye can only be reproduced once, otherwise, Naruto would have to go out and claim invincibility by now. My natal ability is too terrifying. Uzumaki Naruto took a long time to let out a breath, easing the agitation in his heart. Grumble. At this moment, his stomach growled uncontrollably. Even if his strength has greatly increased, he still cannot escape the essence of being a human being, so he will still be hungry. Forget it, I don't want to worry about miscellaneous things for now, and I will reproduce it when I meet a suitable one. Now I will solve the food and clothing first. After making up his mind, Uzumaki Naruto rushed out the door. The morning sun was still soft, and even though it was gloomy in the house for a few days, he was able to adapt quickly. After finding the direction, he ran to Haruno's house. These days Chuno Yabuki would visit him at his house every day and bring him food, but he was not in the mood to eat. Now I can finally go to feast on it. Naruto, are you alright? Entering Haruno's house, Haruno Mebuki said pleasantly. Mom, I made you worry, I'm fine. Uzumaki Naruto smiled back. No matter what Haruno Mebuki's real purpose is, it is enough to visit him every day when he is down and down. He will be grateful to those who are kind to him. Grumble. Naruto Uzumaki's stomach groaned again, and he said awkwardly, to be precise, there is still something wrong. I'm too hungry. I don't know if I have breakfast. I don't worry if I know I'm hungry. I'm about to make breakfast. You can call Xiaoying first, and the meal will be ready later. Haruno Mebuki said with a petting smile. It is good. Uzumaki Naruto responded and quickly walked to the second floor. After experiencing Naraku's seeing technique last time, he never saw Sakura again, and he didn't know how Sakura was doing, if he still hated him. But this time before he could knock on the door, Sakura opened it first and walked out. As the sun coming out from the west. Why did you get up so early? Uzumaki Naruto was slightly surprised, and his heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. It seems that calling Sakura to wake up last time has changed her bad habit of staying in bed. However, before he could praise Sakura, Sakura said angrily, Naruto, are you demented? Today is the ninja school's briefing session. Teacher Iruka told us to gather early. Explanation meeting. Naruto Uzumaki's heart shuddered. Today is the day of class division. He suddenly felt helpless. I thought you learned your lessons and grew up, but it seems that you haven't changed at all. It's a waste of my hard work, but since you're up, let's get ready to eat. After speaking, he turned and went downstairs, sat at the dining table and began to look forward to a delicious breakfast. Not long after, breakfast was served on the table. Haruno Mebuki said earnestly, Sakura, from today onwards you will be a female ninja of Konoha village, and you will work harder in the future. If you encounter difficulties, remember to ask your brother for help. Naruto, I also hope that you can help me more younger sister. Sakura had to put down the bowls and chopsticks with a bang, and said angrily, Mom, I'm not a child anymore, I don't need him to help me, and I don't recognize him as my brother, well, I'm going to school. After speaking, she got up and rushed out the door. Seeing this, Haruno Mebuki sighed, Naruto, your sister is not sensible, and I hope you can help her a lot. No problem. The cannibal has a short mouth, and Naruto can't refuse. Besides, they will be in the same class in the future, so it's okay if you don't want to help her. However, Naruto still had a doubt in his heart. In the original book, because he is the tail of the crane, he will be in the 7th class with the number 1 Sasuke and the mid-level Sakura, so as to achieve an overall balance of strength. But he got the first place after graduation. Will there be a butterfly effect and change the class? This is beyond his eyes. Ninja school. The deserted classroom was full of students after many days. Different from the previous laxity, there is a little more expectation in everyone's eyes. After all, after the briefing, they are no longer children, but Konoha ninjas on their own. Naruto, are you alright? The moment Naruto walked into the classroom, Sasuke suddenly stood up from his seat. This scene really shocked many female students in the class. When did Naruto and Sasuke become so close? What happened to Naruto again? Wait, is this guy really Naruto? The moment the female students saw Naruto, they were all stunned. The Naruto at this moment has undergone earth-shaking changes from the last meeting. The previous Naruto was wearing orange clothes. Although it was quite normal, it was not attractive at all, especially the 3 beards on his face were not satisfactory. But the current Naruto is completely different. The bloated coat was replaced with a long white windbreaker sent by Chunyeme, and the erect hairstyle became smooth mid-length hair. Without the beard on his face, the blonde hair and blue eyes were particularly heroic, and he looked like a nobleman. The female students were blown up in the next moment. No one thought that Naruto is also a handsome guy. Several of the female classmates who flocked to Sasuke had already left the team and walked towards Naruto. However, Naruto's gaze was always on the girl with white eyes who was rolling her hands in the corner. Sure enough, after seeing so much, Hinata is still the cutest. But he still didn't go over. With Hinata's temperament, his heart would probably explode from nervousness. There's no need to trouble Hinata. Looking back, he walked towards Sasuke. What's the matter, are you still hoping that I'll get better? I remember you gloating that day, and I'll settle accounts with you after the briefing session is over. Naruto sat down and said angrily. Sasuke shook his head, and said helplessly, it's not my fault, I've also experienced that technique, who would have thought that your resistance to illusion is so weak? What do you know, bad things have their benefits, at least the postoperative results are good. Unlike you, who are now immune to low-level illusions, and have to work hard to find high-level illusions for you. Naruto curled his lips. Sasuke also curled his lips and said, it seems that it's all for me, don't you want to use it too? Me, I've officially graduated, and I won't need to use illusion in the future. If you don't appreciate it, I won't look for advanced illusion. Naruto played with his taste. Hearing this, Sasuke couldn't help but froze. Graduation, what do you mean? Literally, that illusion was too stimulating for me, I went from 1 to 10,000 directly. Naruto said proudly. At first Sasuke gloated and laughed at him. Now, he could finally let Sasuke down. Boom. This is impossible. Sasuke stood up abruptly, his eyes full of disbelief. As a member of the Uchiha clan, he knows that it is difficult to advance to Sharingan, and every step is as difficult as reaching the sky, especially the kaleidoscope. There are only a few people in the history of the Uchiha clan who can awaken. How could Naruto succeed because of AD level illusion? Believe it or not, I have it anyway. Otherwise, get closer, and I'll show you secretly. Naruto whispered. Sasuke suppressed the shock in his heart, and slowly poked his head towards Naruto. He also knew that it was abnormal for Naruto to have Sharingan, and he couldn't be discovered by other people, so he was so close that he was almost face to face. I want to see something too. However, just when Naruto was about to wear colored contact lenses, a lively male classmate approached here. Sasuke was already in a state of unsteadiness, and when someone approached him from behind, he didn't react for a while, and was pushed forward. And in front of him was Naruto's face. Boom. With a slight noise, all the female students in the class screamed. Sasuke's veteran handsome guy and celebrity, this new handsome guy, actually kissed each other. Oh my god, the picture is too beautiful to dare to look at it. So dazzling. Boom. Naruto pushed Sasuke away violently. He never thought that he would kiss Sasuke without jumping on the table. Is this the irreversibility of the original book? What a joke. Did I do it? The black-haired boy who came up to whip the whip asked nervously. Seeing this person, Naruto jumped even more angrily. This guy is the fool who made his first kiss disappear in the original book. You can really do it. Naruto clenched his fist, but let it go, he couldn't make a big move because of this matter. But this kid is really outrageous. He made a world-famous painting even though he only appeared once in the original book. Even he, who has time traveled in, is hard to guard against. After all, who would have thought that this kid would push Sasuke instead of pushing him this time? But different from the original book, Naruto was not beaten violently because of this kiss. The girls at this moment were screaming non-stop, their expressions looked like rotten girls. Only Sakura looked wrong, looking like she was about to kill someone. But he couldn't stand the screams of most people, so he didn't make a move in the end. Naruto, your glasses haven't. Sasuke's attention was completely out of the kiss just now, and he only focused on looking at the kaleidoscope. But before he finished speaking, Naruto interrupted him with a snort. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't lose my first kiss either. You have to watch it, right? I'll let you watch it after school and try the power. Feeling the floating murderous aura, Sasuke fell silent. Dangadang. At this moment, Iruka opened the door and walked in. The students returned to their seats and sat down obediently. Congratulations, you have become independent ninjas from today. But now you are just novice ninjas, and the real hard work has just begun. From now on, you will be divided into groups of 3, form a team, and follow a senior ninja. The task will be carried out by the teacher. In order to balance the strength of each group, the teacher will decide the grouping. I will announce now. Iruka said, took out a form, and began to classify. Come, the expected division is here. Naruto's attention was instantly focused. Before he went out, he felt that there was a butterfly effect, and the class assignment might have changed, but the first kiss prompted by the black-haired boy just now was equivalent to ringing the alarm bell, making him think that some decisions were wrong. Will change. The number of ways is so difficult to figure out. He can only start in different classes now, and then see whether he has the greater influence or the plot itself has the greater influence, which is related to his future plans. If he had a greater influence, he could have wiped out Highway and the others in advance to prevent Kagayaji from appearing. But if the plot is the priority, then there will always be various coincidence factors in the future that will lead to the appearance of Kagayaji. If this is the case, he would rather make those changes and improve his own strength wholeheartedly. After all, Kagayahime's strength lies there, and it would be nice to surpass that level. It's just that the effort must be much more than killing Highway. As soon as I thought of this, I just heard Iruka say. Then next, Class 7. Class 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha. Iruka read aloud. Why, Uzumaki Naruto and Sakura spoke almost at the same time, and they didn't understand this division very much. Naturally, Sakura didn't need to say much, she simply didn't want to be in the same class as Naruto. However, Naruto felt that this kind of class division was unreasonable at all, and it was agreed to weigh the strength of each class. Why are he number 1 in graduation and Sasuke number 2 in the same class? Could it be that some specific decisions cannot be changed at all? This is not what Naruto wants to see. Although the other students didn't say anything, they also had doubts about the class assignment, and their eyes were full of puzzlement. Iruka explained. Naruto, I admit that your graduation results are the best in the class, but the strength of the other classes has reached a balance, and based on your performance at the tail end of the crane for several years, you are divided into the 7th class. Quote. Hearing this, Naruto was a little speechless. He couldn't accept this reason at all. He was obviously forced into the 7th class. But because of this, he saw the clues that a specific decision really cannot be changed. In other words, he is not enough to have such a big impact. It seems that he still needs to do more things to change the established things. To be honest, he really doesn't want to meet Kagayaji. Thinking about it this way, the class division will soon be over. After the lunch break, Jonin teacher will come to the class and take away the students of his class. Taking advantage of this time, Naruto decided to check in first. He still remembered the notification from the system in the morning that the system energy was about to run out, and he needed to complete a check-in task as soon as possible. After leaving the ninja school, he was going to take a walk on the street, looking for a sign in place. But before he could go far, Sasuke chased him out from behind. Naruto, where are you going? The shift will be divided in the afternoon. Sasuke asked. Naruto waved his hand and said, don't worry, the Jonin teacher in our 7th class is known as a procrastination monster, and has a lot of time. By the way, do you know any good places? A good place? You mean a place for lunch? I remember there is a Japanese dumpling shop on the corner of the street. It's delicious. Sasuke thought about it. Japanese dumplings. Naruto thought about it, and thought it was not bad. He could eat and sign in. In other words, he hasn't eaten Japanese dumplings yet. He just knew that dango is a Japanese-style snack. Rice is ground into powder, kneaded into small balls, kneaded with boiling water, and steamed to make a snack similar to rice cakes. Midori's favorite food seems to be the 3-color dango in this Japanese-style dango. Following Sasuke to the Japanese-style dango shop, after ordering a bunch of dango of various colors, Naruto couldn't wait to pick up a bunch of 3-color dango. Come on. The moment he ate it, Naruto understood why Midori Anzuki likes to eat it. This is not ordinary glutinous rice flour. Milk is added to it, which has a unique milky aroma. With the caramel on the surface and crushed nuts, it has a rich taste. Especially when the dumpling has passed through the ice water, it will not taste hot, and it even feels like eating chocolate crispy ice cream. Not bad, not bad, Naruto commented pertinently. For those with a sweet tooth, this is definitely a dessert not to be missed. It's just that Sasuke didn't eat, still looking forward to it. Naruto, when will you show me your Sharingan? You invite me to this meal, and I'll show you. Naruto rolled his eyes and revealed a treacherous smile. No problem, deal, Sasuke said without hesitation. Happy, Naruto looked around and saw no one, then took out the contact lenses and put them on. The blue pupils turned scarlet in an instant. Sasuke immediately looked into Naruto's eyes intently, and after just one glance, he couldn't help but said, "Are you sure this is a kaleidoscope? Why are you completely gone?" Of course it's a kaleidoscope. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. Naruto was also a little embarrassed, who made his kaleidoscope not connected by hooks at all, but only, hollow circle, left. Show me. Sasuke didn't understand Naruto's meaning. The next moment, I saw Naruto's right index finger, the space above it gradually distorted, and then a black and red flame ignited, like an energy shield, protecting his index finger. Sasuke has never seen such an evil and terrifying chakra form with his own eyes, but he has also seen it in the family's ancient books. This is part of Susanoo. Sasuke was completely dumbfounded. This is the unique ability of the kaleidoscope, and there is no need for Naruto to say anything at this moment. He also confirmed that Naruto already has the kaleidoscope. Okay, keep your voice down. Uzumaki Naruto clenched his right fist, and the black and red flames instantly gathered and dissipated, returning to its original appearance. After all, he is not an eternal kaleidoscope. Just now, he just used the ability of the kaleidoscope for a while, and his eyes felt itchy, as if the color contact lenses were about to dissolve in his eyes. After taking off the contact lenses, his eyes felt much more comfortable. Reminder: Sharingan can be changed into a kaleidoscope when in use, and the three-god jade is usually kept, which consumes much less energy on the eyes. Hearing the system prompt, Naruto nodded suddenly. No wonder Itachi usually uses the three-god jade, and rarely uses the kaleidoscope. Naruto, how did you do it? Sasuke asked urgently. It is also an illusion, but he only upgraded to double hook jade, so why can Naruto get a kaleidoscope? He has every reason to suspect that Naruto has engaged in other actions at home these days. Naruto said helplessly. I have already said that the illusion has affected me too much, otherwise how could I have been closed for so many days? In the final analysis, you are still insincere. Kaleidoscope needs to withstand huge negative emotions, such as witnessing only when the most cherished person dies can it be opened. Is it because I'm not miserable enough? Sasuke fell into deep thought, and then woke up suddenly after a long time, saying, Naruto, in this way, you are worse than me. After finishing speaking, a schadenfreude smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Eating can't stop your mouth, hurry up and eat. Naruto glanced at Sasuke, simply ignored Sasuke, and continued to eat hard. But no matter how delicious Japanese dumplings are, they are all sweets. Sweets have one thing in common: they will get greasy if you eat too much. Fortunately, it only takes an hour to check in, and Naruto's food is just right, not greasy. What reward will you give this time? Although the system needs to sign in this time, every time he signs in, Naruto has some small expectations in his heart, and this time is no exception. According to past speculation, sign-in rewards are all related, but this time at the Japanese dumpling shop, the only related person is Midori Anko. However, he didn't know what ability Midori Anko had, so he couldn't guess it. As soon as he thought of this, a reminder sounded in his mind. It was detected that the host stayed in the Japanese-style dumpling shop for an hour, the check-in was successful, and the reward. It is detected that the host stays in the Japanese dumpling shop for 1 hour, and the check-in is successful, and the Muji Ninjutsu spiral pill will be rewarded. What? Spiral pill? Naruto froze in place for a moment. He never thought that the reward would be a spiral pill, which greatly exceeded his expectations. To say that he himself likes the ninjutsu in Naruto the most, it is undoubtedly the spiral pill. Not to mention the power of this ninjutsu, the most important thing is that there is no need for seals. With his mastery of the power of 9 tails, he can completely perform the spiral pill seamlessly. The fly in the ointment is that it can only be used at close range, but Naruto is already very happy about it. Because there is another advantage of spiral pills, that is, as long as a large amount of chakra is added, large jade spiral pills and super large jade spiral pills can be created, and wind attribute chakra can be added to make spiral pill shurikens, which can be cast remotely. The effect of continuous wave release in Dragon Ball. Of course, all of these require him to strengthen his training. However, with the basic skill of Helix Wand, other derived ninjutsu is not a problem. It's just that he didn't understand why a dumpling shop would give such a good reward. After thinking about it for a while, when he saw the dumpling in his hand, he suddenly realized that the dumpling was kneaded into the shape of a ball, which is similar to twisting spiral pills. Although it is a bit far-fetched, it is probably the understanding of the system. Regarding this, Naruto didn't complain at all. The system gave him such a good reward, it was too late for him to be happy. A series of memories kept pouring into his mind, and the palms of his hands also felt warm. This was the change brought to him by the system. When all these changes were over, he had perfectly mastered the Helix pill. Even now, as long as he clenches his fist a little, there will be a slight airflow in his palm, which can condense into a spiral pill at any time. Sasuke, you go to pay the bill, we are going back to school. Naruto felt refreshed after eating the last dumpling. The result of this check-in was too gratifying. By the time they returned to school, the class was almost gone, only Xiaoying was wandering back and forth, her brows full of anxiety. Yo, my dear sister, what's the matter with you? Naruto was in a good mood, and he was a little drifting when he walked. Even seeing Sakura, I feel less annoying. Sakura hurriedly turned around, and when she saw Naruto and Sasuke, she breathed a sigh of relief, and said, Naruto, who is your younger sister? I don't recognize you as an older brother. Tell me honestly, where did you abduct Sasuke? Why didn't you come back until now? Do you know that other classes have been separated? If our teacher didn't come late, I'm afraid you're going to stab someone again. Sister, Sasuke was a little surprised. Naruto ignored Sakura, and only explained to Sasuke, I was taken in by the Haruno family, and now I am Sakura's brother in name. Turning his eyes, he smiled badly and said, by the way, Sasuke, how about you join the Haruno family too? Why should I join? I'm from the Uchiha clan. Sasuke frowned. Don't forget, you need someone to cherish after all. Naruto said cryptically. Hearing this, Sasuke froze. That's right, to open the kaleidoscope, you need to see the cherished person killed. Now he is alone, where can he find the cherished person? It would be a good plan to join the Haruno family. But these words fell into Sakura's ears, but it changed again. The anger on Sakura's face instantly dissipated, and she turned into a coy look. Sasuke, brother Naruto is right, why don't you come to our Haruno house, our whole family will cherish you very much. Naruto was speechless for a moment. This little girl changed really fast, and when she heard that Sasuke was coming, she started to call him brother against her will. But the more so, he felt uncomfortable. He couldn't help but continued to persuade. Sasuke, you see, Sakura also agreed, I think this matter is feasible. And I suggest you don't become a son-in-law, you go directly to be a door-to-door son-in-law. I think you are a good person, take me, I can rest assured that my sister will leave it to you. Oh, Sakura immediately covered her face shyly, her whole face was as red as a big apple. She didn't see the confusion on Sasuke's face. At this moment, Sasuke looked at Naruto with complicated eyes. He could understand Naruto's intentions, and if he made Sakura his lover, he would undoubtedly become the most cherished person. When the time came to kill him, it would not be a problem to open the kaleidoscope, but hurting others for no reason, the hurdle in his heart is still difficult to overcome. Naruto walked up to Sasuke, and whispered in his ear, Sasuke, didn't you see that? Sakura likes you, and her dream is to marry you. You are already helping her fulfill her dream by marrying her. And if you want her to be your most cherished person, you need to accept from your heart that she likes her and treats her well. You have paid so much for her, and she opened the kaleidoscope for you. This is also a reasonable transaction. Hearing this, Sasuke hesitated, and he tentatively asked, Sakura, do you really support me to be my son-in-law? Sakura said without hesitation. Of course I support it, and with Naruto's brother's help, my mother will probably agree. Don't worry, for you, I am willing to go through fire and water, and I will do anything. See, she's willing to do whatever she wants. She's willing to sacrifice for you. You have no hesitation. After passing this village, there will be no such shop. Naruto whispered in Sasuke's ear like a demon. Having said all this, Sasuke no longer hesitated, and said firmly, after today is over, I will go back with you. Okay. Sakura was ecstatic, and even hugged Naruto, excitedly said, Brother Naruto, you are the best, you still understand me, if this thing is done, I will listen to it from now on. Your words. Hearing this, Naruto shook his head speechlessly. This little girl was sold and counted money for her. Sure enough, girls at this age are full of love. But Naruto didn't intend to kill Sakura. Although he didn't like it, he wouldn't trade his life. His only purpose is to make Sakura listen to him. As long as he doesn't annoy him and cause him trouble, that's enough. As for Sasuke, from the moment he agreed to this matter, he was also tricked by Naruto. Opening the kaleidoscope requires the most cherished, almost impossible. When Sasuke cherished Sakura so much, how could he have the heart to kill Sakura? Taking a step back, Sasuke still has a worried brother. That guy Itachi took great pains for Sasuke. Even if he was ready for the step of the eternal kaleidoscope, it would never be his turn to kill Sakura. No matter how bad it is, when Naruto grows up, he can go find buttonholes with soil. In short, there are many ways. Right now, Naruto is more concerned about the upcoming Kakashi. Don't look at Kakashi wearing a mask and looking like a high-cold ninja, but whether he is watching Intimate Paradise, or knowing how to kill and stab people for thousands of years, it undoubtedly proves that Kakashi's inner perversion, wretchedness and black belly. A small punishment must be given to Kakashi. By the way, he remembered that Kakashi would be hit on the head by a prank when he entered the door, so let's start with that. The blackboard eraser between the door is too weak, I have to think of something stronger. After looking around, his eyes suddenly brightened. Just use this. This is wonderful. Uzumaki Naruto quickly came to the window and picked up a potted plant. Inside the potted plant is a prickly pear, covered with needle-like spikes. Naruto, what are you doing with this? Sasuke asked puzzled. Even our new teacher will be punished for being late. With that said, Naruto took out the cactus and stuck it in the crack of the door. How could Jonin fall into such a clumsy trap? Sasuke sat in the front row, leaning on the table with both hands, with disbelief written all over his face. That's right, Sakura echoed from the side. At this moment, a hand stretched out from the door to hold the door, which immediately attracted the attention of the three people. The next moment, the door was opened, and a head with white hair and a mask poked in, and the cactus also fell straight down. It's just that it exceeded Naruto's expectations. The prickly pear didn't land on Kakashi's head, but was blocked by Kakashi with kunai. It actually blocked it. Naruto couldn't believe it. This is a famous scene. If the plot takes priority, Kakashi will definitely be hit. From this point of view, influence is still the priority. As long as his influence is enough to break the rules, things will change. Surprised, he couldn't help but be ecstatic in his heart. It is feasible to hinder Kagaya, and even prevent Madara from appearing. Naruto, look, I said Jonin wouldn't be that stupid. Sasuke muttered in a low voice. How should I put it, my first impression of you was quite annoying. Kakashi looked at the prickly pear, and said lightly. Hearing this, Sasuke and Sakura's expressions were a little gloomy. Naruto, on the other hand, snorted coldly, my first impression of you was quite annoying. Since he could change the plot, he simply let go of his hands and feet, boldly and recklessly. Anyway, his strength has been significantly improved now, even Kakashi can't do anything to him. Naruto, don't contradict the teacher. Sakura frowned. Kakashi waved his hand and said, Naruto, right, what's your dissatisfaction? First, you were late and didn't follow the rules. Second, you ruined my careful design. Naruto slowly stretched out 2 fingers. Kakashi thought about it. Well, one is indeed that I was late. But the other is that you set a trap for the teacher, is it reasonable? Naruto shook his head helplessly, and sighed, I have already given a clear reminder, this is my careful design. The potted plants in ninja school are all prickly pears. It's not that we can't afford flowers, but I hope we understand the flower language of prickly pears. Quote, the cactus grows in a harsh environment, with a unique shape and strong survivability. It implies tenacity and hope. I put the cactus to let you see my perseverance. I give this hope to you, hoping that you can replace teacher Aruka and lead me to a better future. Of course, placing it on the door is also to test whether you are qualified to be my teacher. However, you only thought it was a prank, and completely shattered my hopes. As a Junin, you couldn't catch the prickly pear properly, and it also made me doubt your strength. So, whether it is the inner character or the outer strength, I am quite disgusted. After a well-founded speech, the class suddenly fell into silence. After a long time, Kakashi narrowed his eyes and said, funny little guy, I remember you. Just because you remember me doesn't mean I remember you. Naruto snorted coldly, and said reluctantly, as a teacher, you have a list, and you must know me in detail, but I don't know you yet. Don't you think you should introduce yourself first? Besides, you don't have to seeing me with my true face and being unable to do the two most basic points of communicating with people is already a great disrespect to me. No matter what Sasuke and Sakura think, I can't recognize you at all. Kakashiden felt a headache. This time he really met a difficult guy. Sure enough, you guys gave me a pretty bad impression. Kakashi narrowed his eyes and said, since this is the case, I don't think there is any need to introduce yourself. Anyway, in my opinion, you can't become ninjas. Sakura was puzzled. Teacher, what does this mean? Kakashi said in a deep voice. The graduation exam is only used to select those who are qualified to become ninjas. I will test you to judge whether you are qualified, and those who fail will be sent back to school. Remember to bring a set of ninja tools. Gather at the training ground at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. By the way, don't eat breakfast, you'll vomit. Then, disband. After speaking, Kakashi turned into a black shadow and disappeared in place. If you fail the assessment, you won't be able to form the 7th class, so there is no need to introduce it. Hey, this is a bit interesting. Naruto laughed playfully. He thought it would keep Kakashi from stepping down, but he didn't expect this guy to be able to smooth things over. However, Kakashi followed the plot, but he didn't follow the original plot. Tomorrow's assessment must completely break the plot rules. Naruto, you can still laugh. If we fail, we will be sent back to school. It's all your fault, Sakura said angrily. Naruto said helplessly. Even if I don't say it, what if there is no such assessment? The hardships you have to go through to become a ninja are far beyond your imagination. Even if Kakashi's assessment is aimed at us, it will not exceed what a ninja can do. If you don't even have this confidence, how can you become a Chunin, a Jonin, or even a Hokage? Forget it, I don't care, I'm going back. Sakura left the classroom angrily. Sasuke didn't leave, but frowned and said, Naruto, this doesn't seem to be your character, why did you provoke him on purpose? You don't need to worry about these things. Anyway, Itachi is stronger than Kakashi. If you want to defeat Itachi, the first thing you need to do is defeat Kakashi. This is what you should think about. After speaking, Naruto left the classroom leisurely. Although Sasuke has become his follower and cannot betray him, it is too early to reveal the plot to Sasuke. Sasuke must be allowed to grow himself so as not to become a flower in the greenhouse. As for him, he went to the next check-in location. Contradicting Kakashi is not his ultimate goal. His goal from beginning to end is to destroy the plot. Kakashi is just the first step in his plan. Only by changing Kakashi's attitude and successfully taking the first step will he be more confident to destroy the plans of the Akatsuki organization and more rules of Hokage, so as to ensure that the real strong will not even appear and will be stillborn. For this reason, he needs a stronger combat capability to ensure an absolute victory against Kakashi tomorrow. At this moment, the sign in place he went to was Hokage Rock. To be precise, it was the stone statue of the 4th Hokage. He just asked the system how to get Flying Thunder God, so he asked about this location. When he came to the top of the mountain, he respectfully kowtowed 3 times to the stone statue of the 4th Hokage, and then apologized. I'm sorry, the father who has never met, I can only wrong you so that my son can become stronger. After all, he flew down and rode on the stone statue suddenly. After working until late at night, Uzumaki Naruto dragged his exhausted body back to his den. After making these preparations, Kakashi will suffer. He fell on the bed with a satisfied and playful smile on the corner of his mouth. After traveling for so many days, today is the most exhausting and the most fulfilling. Before, he was just thinking about how to deal with Kagayaji's imaginary enemies, but now he finally took the first step down to earth. As the saying goes, everything is difficult at the beginning, and the end must be beautiful. Don't think about it anymore, snoring soon sounded in the room. No words all night, noon the next day. Naruto woke up naturally after sleeping, and went to Haruno's house to have a delicious lunch before rushing to the training ground. When he arrived, Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi were there. Yo, good morning everyone. Naruto greeted everyone with a smile. Sakura said in a bad mood, good morning, it's already noon. We agreed to meet at 5 o'clock in the morning, why did you come here? Because a black cat passed in front of my eyes, and I went to eat a meal, the time was delayed. Naruto scratched his head. Why do you have the same excuse as Kakashi-sensei? Sakura clutched her stomach, a little speechless. And how did you eat? Aren't you afraid of throwing up? What's there to be afraid of? I've seen a lot of disgusting things. Naruto said to himself. Not to mention that Kakashi didn't prepare disgusting things, just to scare them. Even if he is really disgusting, he is not afraid. In his previous life, he liked to watch food and TV broadcasts when eating, especially those who were curious, such as Lao Ba's Ollie and Mr. Pei's Raw Ox Eyes. They are all capable of cooking. As a cook, no matter what kind of nausea you encounter, you can cook, and you can do it with energy and demeanor. Walking into the line, he took out 2 Bingliong pills and handed them to Sasuke and Sakura respectively. At first glance, you are honest children, so let's eat this stuff first. But, Kakashi-sensei said. Before Sakura finished speaking, Naruto interrupted. Don't worry about what he said, you first think about what you need. How can you work hard if you don't fill your stomach? In your current state, when the wind blows no, let alone the assessment. Sakura was at a loss for words, and Sasuke ate Bingliong Wan without hesitation. Boom. However, at this moment, the blue sky suddenly burst into dark clouds, thunder and lightning. I saw Kakashi forming mudras with his hands, and said with a gloomy face, how dare you disobey my rules, are you all ready? Do you have anything to say? Sasuke and Sakura were a little flustered, only Naruto stepped forward, and said indifferently, put away your tricks of scaring children, our classmates for several years should help each other. And you, just an outsider, I said however, I haven't recognized you as my teacher yet, so don't talk to me in a questioning tone, it's really annoying. You two think so too. Kakashi squinted at Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke hesitated a little, but stepped forward. That's right, I think the same as Naruto, and don't think that you can do whatever you want because you are a Jonin. Sooner or later, I will surpass you. Seeing Sasuke stand out, Sakura also bit the bullet and said, I think it's right for classmates to help each other. It's the teacher's fault to lie to us that we can't eat and get up early. Mutual help, right, very good. Kakashi snorted coldly, took out 2 bells from his pocket, and said in a deep voice, my assessment is very simple. There is no time limit, as long as you snatch it from me if you reach this bell, you will pass the examination successfully. 3 people and 2 bells. Sasuke couldn't help frowning. Sakura said even more angrily, teacher, it's unreasonable to be doomed to eliminate 1 person before the start. You have said to help each other, I admire your friendship very much. But there are only 2 places, it depends on whether your friendship is strong enough. Kakashi snorted coldly. Now, the assessment begins. Teacher, this. Before Sakura finished speaking, Naruto beside her disappeared from the spot. But in the blink of an eye, Naruto reappeared in place. I saw that he was holding 2 bells in his hand, and placed them on the hands of Sasuke and Sakura respectively. Okay, I got the bell, you 2 have passed the test. Naruto said with a smile. Sasuke asked puzzled, what about you? Naruto said indifferently. You still want revenge, this quota is very important to you. Sakura is my younger sister, and I am an older brother, so it is right to let her go. As for me, to be honest, I don't care about this quota. It is within reach what I got, also let me see Kakashi clearly, he is not qualified to be my teacher, he is not as strong as me. Without too much hesitation, Sasuke put the bell in Sakura's hand. Since that's the case, I don't want this quota anymore. I just want to become stronger. Kakashi is so weak, I might as well continue to practice with you. Quote. Without Sasuke, I don't want to be here anymore. Sakura didn't hesitate. For her, it's only worth being by Sasuke's side. She strode forward, put the 2 bells in Kakashi's hands, and said solemnly, Teacher, take back your bells, it seems that we have no chance. Qualified. The haze on Kakashi's face receded quietly, his eyes turned into crescents with a smile. Pass. Why? I've already returned the bell to you. Sakura asked puzzled. Kakashi said, all 3 of you are qualified. Huh. Sakura was stunned for a moment. Ninjas have to see through tricks. In the world of ninjas, those who break the rules are scumbags, but those who don't know how to value their companions are the scumbags among scumbags. You know how to help each other, which is good, so congratulations, everyone is qualified. Kakashi looked up to the sky and said, his eyes were full of complex colors, and the dark clouds in the sky turned into a blue sky again. Sasuke and Sakura couldn't help but smile on their faces. It would be great to be able to become ninjas together. This time, only Naruto's face was filled with dumbfounded astonishment. His original plan was to get the bell by Flying Thunder God, and then let Sasuke and Sakura pass, and then he would find a reason to fight Kakashi, and then completely leave class breaking the Hokage rules. For this reason, he spent a day yesterday and made a lot of Flying Thunder God coordinates in the practice field. However, he never expected that Sasuke and Sakura would not play their cards according to the routine, and would rather give up the opportunity for him. At this moment, he couldn't tell whether he was moved or frustrated because the 2 of them sabotaged the plan. However, the matter is not over yet, the beginning must not fail, this is his bottom line. He rolled his eyes, and then showed a look of success. No, I haven't recognized you yet, you haven't introduced yourself, and you haven't shown your true colors to others. He didn't believe that Kakashi dared to take off the mask, which Kishimoto didn't do. Starting today, the 7th class is established. I am your teacher, Hatake Kakashi. Kakashi said solemnly, and then pulled off the mask. Now, can you recognize me? Under the mask was a delicate and handsome face, without the slightest sense of vicissitudes. However, Naruto never expected that Kakashi would take off his mask. You know, Kakashi's 2 most famous points are copying the ninja's name and the mask that he never took off. Now, in order to get his approval, it is too exaggerated to go so far as to do so. Wait, since this is the case, is it equivalent to influencing people? Thinking of this, Naruto couldn't help showing a triumphant smile. However, after Kakashi put on the mask again, he didn't intend to stop the matter. Sasuke, Sakura, your assessment is over, now I want to conduct a separate assessment for Naruto. Kakashi said with narrowed eyes. Sasuke asked puzzled, any more questions? Yeah, isn't everyone qualified? Sakura also didn't understand. Kakashi didn't explain. Seeing that Kakashi's expression was wrong, Naruto waved his hands and said, you 2 go back first, I will accept a separate assessment. Sasuke thought for a moment, nodded and said, all right then, Sakura, let's go. But, when Sakura wanted to say something, Sasuke interrupted, don't worry, I believe in Naruto. He has seen Naruto's kaleidoscope Sharingan with his own eyes, and he is very confident in Naruto's strength. Sakura didn't say anything more, and followed Sasuke to leave the training ground. When the 2 of them walked away completely, Kakashi said in a deep voice, tell me, why do you use Flying Thunder God? Only the 2nd Hokage Senjumona and the 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato can use the Flying Raijin Jutsu. In addition, even Namikaze Minato's followers can only use the Flying Thunder Array. It is said that when Naruto was born, Namikaze Minato had already passed away, and no one has mastered this technique anymore. Even the current 3 generations will not use it. This made Kakashi have to doubt Naruto. I'm just accepting the assessment, and I didn't promise to answer your question. Naruto said flatly. Kakashi couldn't help frowning. Then how can you say it? Naruto stretched out 2 fingers, and said calmly, it's very simple, I have 2 conditions. First, I will tell you the reason, and you must not publicize it. Second, I need the 7th class to be led by me. Kakashi thought about it. I will consider whether to report it based on your answer. If there is no problem, I can help you hide it. But I can't agree to the second point. I am the teacher of the 7th class. In addition to leading you, I am also responsible for the report. To protect your safety, with you as the leader, are you sure you have that strength? Whether there is, you will know once you try it. Naruto arched his body and disappeared from the spot. This time there were no dark shadows, clearly not moving at high speed. And the next moment, he had already appeared behind Kakashi. Being able to achieve this kind of flash-level agility undoubtedly relied on the Flying Thunder God technique. Kakashi, you lost. Naruto put kunai on Kakashi's back close to his heart. Is it? Kakashi chuckled lightly. Immediately afterwards, Kakashi in front of Naruto turned into a log. You lost. Kakashi had unknowingly arrived behind Naruto, and kunai even reached the back of Naruto's head. Substitution. A boring little trick, Naruto said disdainfully, and his figure disappeared again. This time, Kakashi clearly felt the fluctuation of the mark of Fei Lei Shen. But before he could stop in advance, the Naruto who had just appeared disappeared again, flashing through Fei Shen Lei continuously. After sensing it again, Kakashi couldn't help being stunned. There are as many as 1,000 Flying Thunder God marks in the entire practice field, how can we fight like this? Forget it, let's call it a day. Kakashi said helplessly. Naruto's figure suddenly appeared in front of Kakashi, and he said with a playful smile, why, you admit defeat. Admit defeat. This time it's a tie. I can't do anything about your Flying Thunder God art, but you can't do me any harm. Kakashi said lightly. Really, it seems that you still underestimate me. The corner of Naruto's mouth raised, mobilizing the power of 9 tails in his body. Immediately 3 beards appeared on his face, and the entire blue pupils turned into scarlet vertical pupils. 9-tailed chakra instantly wrapped Naruto's body, forming dark red clothes. If you underestimate me, you will have to pay the price. Get me a punch. Naruto rushed forward suddenly, and hit Kakashi's chest with one punch. The distance between the two was only 3 meters, and Naruto pulled them closer in an instant. Kakashi had no time to escape, so he had to put his arms in front of him. But Kakashi didn't feel the slightest harm after the huge breath hit his face. Looking again, the Naruto in front of him had disappeared. The next moment, he only felt a strong force coming from behind, with a strong burning sensation, hitting his back hard. Puff! As Kakashi fell forward, he couldn't help spurting out a big mouthful of blood. How about this punch, isn't it comfortable? Naruto chuckled. Kakashi turned over and stood up, narrowing his eyes slightly to look at Naruto. His eyes were a little complicated and said, unexpectedly, it is the 2nd stage of Flying Thunder God, I haven't seen it for a long time. That's right, it's the 2nd stage of Flying Thunder God. The forward strike to hit the front is just Naruto's fake move, but the ability to attack from behind in one go relies on Flying Thunder God. The Flying Thunder God imprint he had set up at the training ground all day yesterday finally came in handy. How about it, continue? Naruto said triumphantly. Kakashi waved his hand and said, no need, you've already won. The entire practice field is the mark of Flying Raijin. Naruto is already invincible. Even if Kakashi uses powerful ninjutsu, there is no way to trap Naruto. Instead, Naruto can use Flying Rai intermittent attack. However, at this moment, Kakashi has another doubt. How could you have such terrifying power? It's still the same sentence, you promised me 2 conditions, and I can give you an answer. Naruto said lightly. Kakashi took a deep breath and said solemnly, I have already lost to you, so it is no problem for you to lead the 7th class. However, I cannot promise you the first condition immediately. If your reasons endanger the interests of the village, I'll report it anyway. Enough is refreshing. Naruto put away the power of the 9 tails, and explained, my current achievements are all due to my father. He left a memory and sealed it in my mind through the sealing technique. As I grow up, it was gradually unraveled. The Flying Thunder God was taught to me by my father, and the power I used just now is the power of the 9 tails. As long as I mediate the 9 tails seal left by my father, I can freely use the power of the 9 trumpets. How? Are you satisfied with this explanation? After speaking, he looked at Kakashi with great interest. These reasons are what he thought of last night, as long as he uses power, it will undoubtedly be exposed. However, it is reasonable for him to push all this to Namikaze Minato. As for dumping the blame on Minato, Naruto was also very calm, who let Minato die and left a mess. If Minato hadn't cheated his son first, Naruto wouldn't have cheated his father. It was a helpless move. After listening to Naruto's explanation, Kakashi fell into deep thought. It took a long time before he opened his mouth and said, "So, you already know everything. Which aspect are you talking about? Do you know that I am the son of the 4th generation, or do you know that you are my father's disciple?" Naruto pretended to be puzzled, but revealed a lot of information. Kakashi shook his head helplessly. "No wonder you are targeting me so much. It turns out that you know everything, so you don't want to be my disciple because you are worried about being inferior. That's right, you are my father's disciple. As the saying goes, you are a teacher for a day and a father for life. You and I should be regarded as equals. Why should I lower you? Besides, you can't beat me, so I have no reason to ask you to be my father." Division. Naruto thought for a while, and added, "The memory left by my father has taught me everything, so I am your junior brother in name." Hearing this, Kakashi said in relief, "I agree to your 2 conditions." After all, it was Namikaze Minato's professor, so he didn't have to doubt it. Besides, Naruto is Minato's son, and Namikaze Minato, as the 4th Hokage, has no reason to do things that damage the village, and even less reason to cheat his son. I'm naturally relieved of the disciples taught by the teacher. It's just that you want the 7th class to be led by you. What exactly do you want to do? Kakashi asked. Naruto said without hesitation, "Of course I made a lot of money." Make a lot of money? Kakashi was puzzled. Naruto explained. "I heard that you can accept tasks if you become a ninja, but for novices like us, the village will definitely not give advanced tasks, but if you are led by me, you will be able to accept advanced tasks." Made a lot of money. Advanced missions are very dangerous. You are strong enough, but haven't you thought about Sakura and Sasuke? Kakashi frowned. He doesn't want Naruto to only think about himself and ignore his teammates. Naruto waved his hand and said, "You don't need to worry about this. I have already trained Sasuke, and now Sasuke has 2 scribbled Sharingan. Self-protection is still no problem. Can't you and I protect a Sakura?" Quote. But even so, Kakashi wanted to say something, but Naruto interrupted. "Stay in the greenhouse blindly, you can't get real growth. Besides, my father said that the young eagle must spread its wings and soar high above the 9 heavens." Hearing this, Kakashi fell silent again. After a long while, I finally came back to my senses. The teacher is right, the young eagle must spread its wings and fly high. Since it is the teacher's expectation, I will not hinder it anymore. However, I still need to test the strength of Sasuke and Sakura, to determine their actual combat capabilities. No problem. Naruto shouted to the outside of the practice field, "Sasuke, Sakura, come here." After the voice fell, 2 people walked out from behind a tree outside the practice field. As they got closer, Sakura couldn't help but said, "Naruto, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Who told you to call me by my name, brother?" Naruto nodded Sakura's forehead, and looked at Sasuke complaining again. "I told you to go, and you are still secretly observing. What's wrong with you? Didn't you hit me in the face?" Sasuke was speechless for a moment, speechless. Indeed, he didn't leave because he was worried about Naruto's strength, so doubting Naruto was really a slap in the face. It's just that they were far away just now, and he and Sakura couldn't hear what they said clearly. "Forget it, I don't care about you. Don't play such small thoughts in the future. It is still very important to obey orders, otherwise you will suffer a lot in the future." Naruto shook his head helplessly. Kakashi answered, "It's just as well if you didn't leave. Get ready, and test the strength of the 2 of you immediately." "No," Naruto waved his hand and interrupted. "Kakashi, the test is fine, but I know the strength of the 2 of them, and now I need you to adjust. How about this? I will fight the 3 of you, and I will give you half an hour to prepare." Quote. Sakura suddenly said angrily, "Naruto, don't be arrogant if you have a little strength. Mr. Kakashi is a Jonin." Before Naruto could refute, Kakashi and Sasuke both acquiesced to this decision and started to discuss countermeasures. They have all tasted Naruto's terrifying strength, and they dare not be careless at all. Seeing this, Naruto saved his tongue, stepped aside and waited quietly. Half an hour passed quietly. Naruto got up and said, "Okay, now the time is up, the drill will start now." As he spoke, he appeared in front of the three of them in a flash. "Follow the plan," Kakashi said in a deep voice. Sasuke and Sakura nodded and were about to disperse. Naruto didn't give them more time, and started to seal at the speed of light. When the seal stayed on the yin seal, he shouted, "The art of seeing Naraku." Sakura's eyes suddenly lost consciousness, and then she yelled, "Sasuke," hysterically, and then passed out on the ground. The next moment, Naruto cast Flying Thunder God and grabbed the back of Sakura's neck. A set of movements was smooth, and even within 5 seconds, one person was caught. "I didn't expect it to be so easy. It seems that you haven't communicated for half an hour." Naruto chuckled. Sasuke wanted to explain something, but Naruto suddenly gasped and said in surprise, "By the way, I suddenly heard where that man is." "Where is it?" Sasuke's expression suddenly changed. Taking advantage of his anxious emptiness, Naruto cast Flying Thunder God again, appearing behind Sasuke with a hand knife, knocking Sasuke unconscious. "Oh, I accidentally caught another one. Kakashi, you are the only one left now." Before Naruto could finish speaking, Kakashi rushed towards Naruto with Rachel in his hand. It's just that Naruto didn't use Flying Thunder God this time, but grabbed Sasuke and stood in front of him. Seeing this, Kakashi hurriedly staggered his position. Boom! Rachel slammed onto the ground, kicking up a large cloud of dust. When the smoke and dust dissipated, a large circular crater had formed on the ground, and its power could be seen. "Naruto, what do you mean?" Kakashi stopped what he was doing. Naruto said with a playful smile, "Of course it's testing, and now you can find the problem too." Kakashi nodded slightly. Sakura's weakness is that she has a heart for Sasuke, which is normal for a girl of this age. Sasuke should be hating Itachi, and it is understandable that he lost control of his emotions. But, what is the reason why you use Sasuke to resist the attack? Quote, "Of course it's because of you," Naruto said helplessly. "You were mentioned in the memory left by my father, so I just want to see your determination." "Very good, you still value your companions, but there is also a fatal problem." "What's the problem?" Kakashi asked puzzled. Naruto sighed. "You value your companions too much. You should have left to find reinforcements if you knew you couldn't beat me. Otherwise, it would be useless for you to stay here. Just now because of Sasuke, you wasted your chakra even more. Give it to me. Enough space to attack you." Kakashi nodded but said nothing. Naruto continued. "In addition, as their teacher, you are fully capable of asking about their situation in half an hour, instead of simply cooperating with the action. Causing them to be subdued by me for a short time is all your problem." Quote, "It's really not that Naruto deliberately found fault. If Naruto was a real enemy, and investigated their past to infer their flaws, and started with this, it would be the same situation now. Besides, in the original book, when Sasuke left the village, Kakashi also had problems. If Kakashi could understand the situation as soon as possible and enlighten Sasuke, Sasuke would not become more extreme. At least there is room for relaxation." He said so much to prevent Kakashi from happening. Before I knew it, the preaching mouth escape mode started. After a long silence, Kakashi looked up to the sky and sighed, "I am too self-centered. Naruto, you are indeed more suitable to lead the 7th class than me." For the next week, Naruto had nothing to do. Although he anxiously wanted to take the task and leave the village to sign in, Kakashi was still firm in his thoughts and had to run the team. Otherwise, it is easy for unexpected things to happen in the village. No matter how Naruto explained, Kakashi couldn't be said. Fortunately, a week is not too long. This morning, all members of the 7th class gathered and came to Hokage's office. "Kakashi, they are just beginners. Everyone accumulates experience with simple tasks at the beginning. I thought Naruto would play a rogue, but I didn't expect you to say this." Iruka, who was standing beside the 3rd Hokage, frowned. Before Kakashi could speak, Naruto stepped forward and said, "Mr. Iruka guessed right. I really don't blame him. I asked for it. I think we can handle more advanced tasks." 3rd Hokage said with a pipe in his mouth, "Naruto, it seems that I have to explain to you the true meaning of the mission. Listen, Every day in the village there are many things that need to be entrusted to us, ranging from babysitting to assassination. There are various entrustments recorded on the entrustment form. These tasks are divided into ABCD 4 grades according to their difficulty. According to ability, the village is divided into Hokage, upper ninja, middle ninja and lower ninja from me, and the entrustment is assigned by our senior management to the corresponding ninja according to ability. As long as the task can be successfully completed, the client will pay us the reward. Having said that, you have only just become genin, and you can only do D-level work at most. Naruto frowned, and just about to refute, Kakashi stood up and said, Master Hokage, I believe in their strength. Listening to Kakashi's decisive answer, both Sandai Hokage and Iruka couldn't help being stunned. Immediately afterwards, the two smiled at the same time. Kakashi can be so sure. Presumably it is because the 3 children in the 7th class have performed well, which makes them all happy from the bottom of their hearts. The 3rd Hokage looked at the power of attorney and thought about it. Since you said so, then I will give you a C-level mission. C-level. Sasuke frowned slightly, a little dissatisfied. Naruto hurriedly grabbed Sasuke, motioning Sasuke not to speak. He remembered the first time the 3rd Hokage entrusted Class 7 with a C-level task, and that was no ordinary C-level task. This is your client, Dasna. Sandai Hokage said something, and the door of the office opened. A smell of alcohol that was so thick and stinking rushed into Nuoda's room, and then an old man in sweatshirt, gray beard and glasses walked in. What? Why are you some brats? He raised the bottle and took a sip, drunkenly said, especially the shortest one, who looks super stupid, are you really a ninja? Hearing this, all members of the 7th class looked a little gloomy. The shortest one is undoubtedly Naruto, but at the moment Sakura and Sasuke are considered to be half of Naruto's family, how can outsiders be allowed to speak ill of Naruto? Kakashi also does not allow others to insult his junior. Seeing that Sasuke was about to rush out, Naruto grabbed him and said, don't be impulsive. But he insulted you. Sasuke frowned. Naruto shook his head and said, how to say, he is also our client, of course, the premise is that he is rich enough. Dasna snorted. I am a super famous bridge builder. During the period when I returned to China to complete the bridge construction, you have to work hard and protect me super well. As long as you can complete the commission, money is not a problem. Okay, we've accepted this task. Naruto smiled back. Don't look at it as a mere C-level task, but this is only a C-level task on the surface, but it is actually a B-level task. What's more, it doesn't matter what kind of entrustment, the most important thing is that you can go out of the village and go to more places to sign in and check in. As for Dasner's insult, he was in no rush to retaliate, and there was plenty of time to play slowly on the way. Seeing this scene, both Sandai Hokage and Iruka showed satisfaction. Although Tasna was impolite, he was a client after all, and Naruto's ability to be so calm must have grown up. It's just that everyone in Class 7 doesn't think so. The last time they saw Naruto smiling like this, it was a sign of Naruto doing something bad. How should I put it? Naruto smiled, life and death are unpredictable. When they looked at Dasna again, they didn't think Dasna was hateful anymore, but they had sympathy and pity in their eyes. Accepting the entrustment to go through the formalities of leaving the village was delayed for an hour. The long-lost system prompt sounded in Naruto's mind. It is detected that the host stays in the Hokage office for an hour, and the check-in is successful, and the reward is the sealing technique Ghoul Sealing. Ghoul Seal. Dedicate the souls of yourself and the enemy to the god of death, and be swallowed by the god of death, so as to achieve the same death with the enemy. Seeing this reward, Naruto couldn't help being stunned. Is this a reward or a punishment? Naruto was a little speechless. If this ninjutsu is used, no matter whether the enemy is sealed or not, first of all, he will dedicate his soul, which will completely hurt the enemy by 1000 and self-damage by 800. Good guy, I'm direct good guy. What is the difference between this and actively seeking death? No wonder the system didn't prompt him to sign in at Hokage's office, there really wasn't anything good. A stream of memories passed into his mind, and soon he learned this S-level sealing technique, but he also made up his mind that he would never use this trick in his life. He hasn't gotten sick yet, so there is no need to take the initiative to seek death. It's just that this trick also reminded him that when Namikaze Minato sealed it, it seemed that only the yang attribute Kyuubi was sealed in his body, and the other half of the yin attribute Kyuubi was also sealed on Namikaze Minato's body. If there is a chance in the future, he still has to get back the power of the full body of Nine Tails, and then his strength will be improved to a higher level. Thinking of this, he and the others have arrived at the entrance of the village. Is it really okay to send these brats? Dasna was still chattering, questioning the strength of Class 7. Sasuke walked up to Naruto and said in a low voice, "Naruto, what are you going to do to him? Count me in this time." Even if it was him, he couldn't bear it any longer. Why should he be gossiped by a bad old man? What a bad client. The time has not come yet, so it's not suitable to do it. But don't worry, there will definitely be no good fruit for him. Naruto comforted Sasuke before giving up. Kakashi on the side couldn't stand it anymore, and said in a deep voice, "Mr. Dasna, with me as a Junin, there will be no problems with this commission. Or, do you also question me?" Dasna was at a loss for words, took a sip of his wine resentfully, and stopped talking. Without this guy's complaints, the road was much quieter. Naruto looked at the scenery along the way, and he was naturally in a good mood. After all, this was the first time he had left the village. I don't know what rewards there will be for going to the land of waves this time. Although he could interrogate the system, it was less fun. This is like opening a blind box, and the sense of expectation is also very important. But not long after he walked, he saw a puddle of water in front of the road. Seeing this, Naruto's expression moved slightly, and a smile could not help but appear on the corner of his mouth. Dasna, the show is about to begin. Naruto, this is. Sasuke looked at the small puddle on the ground and immediately became vigilant. This is the right time, Sasuke. Naruto smiled, and walked forward with Sasuke's shoulders on his shoulders. But, don't we need to worry about it? Sasuke frowned. Naruto shook his head. What's the matter? We're taking a C-level mission, so we just need to escort. As for the battle, it's a B-level or higher mission. But how did you get to this point? Sasuke still didn't understand. When the old man entrusted us, he repeatedly emphasized to protect him, and worried that we were not strong enough. If no one troubles him, why should he entrust? Naruto said with a playful smile. As the saying goes, you get what you pay for. What does it have to do with us beyond the scope of entrustment? The old guy said we can't do it, so we can't show him. As expected of you. Sasuke gave a thumbs up, and followed suit with a giggle. Hearing Naruto and Sasuke's whispers, Kakashi couldn't help but look sideways. Naruto made a silent motion, Kakashi sighed helplessly, and returned an, "Okay," gesture. Only Sakura and Dasna were still not aware of it, and they still walked forward with big strides. However, the moment everyone walked through the puddle, the water surface fluctuated, and a black-haired man wearing a mist ninja forehead poked his head out of the water. After noticing nothing unusual, he got out of the puddle. Another one who was very similar to him also appeared behind him. The next moment, one of them pulled out the iron chain and jumped up and rushed towards Kakashi. The laggard Mistnin also threw out a long iron chain to cooperate with the former. The action was done in one go, and before everyone could react, Kakashi was completely bound by two chains. The first one. The two fog ninja let out a low cry and pulled the chain vigorously at the same time. The barbed spikes on the chain were like a meat grinder, strangling Kakashi mercilessly. A large amount of smoke and dust was immediately thrown up at the scene, and everyone could only vaguely see a few fragments slowly falling to the ground through the smoke and dust. Don't think too much, Kakashi has been completely crushed. Ms. Kakashi, Sakura screamed, her expression extremely nervous. But he didn't notice that Naruto standing behind the line was muttering softly, "Sasuke, Kakashi's performance is over, it will be your turn in a while, don't make any mistakes, you understand?" Sasuke nodded solemnly. The next moment, two mist ninja appeared in front of Naruto, and the chains were suddenly bound. The second one. It also raised a large cloud of dust, and only fragments could be vaguely seen falling on the ground. Of course Naruto can't die. Just like Kakashi, he escaped from the scene at the last moment with a substitute technique, using broken wood to disguise his death. Naruto was already hiding behind a tree, and Kakashi was beside him. "Naruto, why are you here?" Kakashi asked puzzled. As soon as he finished asking, there was another person beside him, and it was Sasuke who had finished acting. Yeah, why did you ask us to come here? Let's bully that old guy, but what about Sakura? Sasuke asked puzzled. Naruto explained. Following us, Sakura will never grow up. She has to go through the danger herself. Only in life and death can she truly grow up. Don't worry, if the situation is wrong, it's not too late for us to act. That's right, there are only 2 fog ninjas in the area, and I can settle them myself. Sasuke nodded thoughtfully. After the 3 of them discussed, their eyes all fell on Sakura. Only Sakura, Datsuna, and 2 Kirin are present at the moment. Dazuna's pupils constricted in fright, and the drunkenness on his face disappeared long ago. Seeing Dazuna's pale face, Naruto and Sasuke couldn't help laughing. But soon they stopped laughing. I saw that Sakura didn't have the slightest fear, only a gloomy expression on her face. The technique of Narukumi, and the technique of Narukumi. Naruto, can you stop making such silly jokes, it's not funny at all. Sakura roared, took out her shuriken and rushed towards the 2 Kirin. Little ghost, you are the 4th one. The 2 Kuririn sneered, threw the chains away again, and tied them to Sakura. Ding, ding. Sakura took out 2 4-pointed darts from the ninja bag, and quickly threw them towards the path where the chain came. The 2 chains that were hit changed direction at the same time. Seeing the overlapping position of the chains, Sakura flew out the shuriken again, penetrated the 2 chains in an instant, and nailed it to the tree. The 2 fogs endured being implicated, and they collided with each other with a bang. The next moment, Sakura stepped on the 2 chains and grabbed the masks of the 2 Kirin with her left and right hands. Kakashi-sensei, stop messing around with Naruto. Shish. The mask was taken off, revealing 2 extremely gloomy and terrifying faces. Huh, why isn't it Kakashi-sensei and Naruto? Sakura was suddenly blindfolded. Seeing this, Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other in blank dismay. They never expected that Sakura's brain circuit was so strange, and they thought it was an illusion caused by Narukumi's technique. Not only that, but Sakura's strength has also improved by leaps and bounds this week. She actually managed to do this. The big tree that the shuriken stabbed just now was their cover, and they were almost stabbed. It seems that Sakura has grown up a long time ago, but they have grown so fast that they feel that Sakura has not changed. But now is not the time to think about this. Naruto suddenly appeared behind the 2 mist ninjas through the flying Raijin left just now, and before the 2 mist ninjas launched an attack on Sakura, he knocked them unconscious. Mist ninja. What's going on here? Sakura still didn't understand the situation. Naruto explained. This time it's not my Narukumi technique, these 2 are real mist ninjas. I didn't expect your strength to grow so fast, I am impressed. However, it's okay if you don't explain. When Sakura reacted, her eyes suddenly showed panic. So, Sasuke was really killed by these 2 mist ninjas. No, Sasuke will not die. As she spoke, she couldn't bear the blow at all, and she fainted to the ground as soon as she rolled her eyes. This. Naruto was speechless. Naruto, I'm afraid you played too much this time. If you don't explain clearly, Sakura won't let you go. Sasuke came out from behind the tree and said leisurely. This is not my fault alone. You all played with me, didn't you, Mr. Kakashi? As a teacher, this arduous task is entrusted to you. Naruto hastily cast a sincere gaze at Kakashi. Kakashi coughed lightly, and said, your words really upset me. I dare not claim to be your teacher. In my heart, you have always been my best junior, so, this matter still needs you do the work yourself. Sasuke nodded, and echoed, Naruto, I remember you said, a man is a man, one person does things and one person is responsible, so don't refuse, haha. Looking at the 2 people who are not sticky, Naruto wants to die. Unexpectedly, after calculating for a lifetime, he could still capsize in the gutter. Chapter 31. Not long after, Sakura woke up leisurely. After discovering the crowd around her, she immediately beamed with joy. Great, everyone is fine. Immediately afterwards, she turned her head to look at Naruto, frowned and said, Naruto, what's going on? Looking at Kakashi and Sasuke who looked like they had nothing to do with him, Naruto couldn't help turning his eyes to Dasuna who looked confused. As soon as he rolled his eyes, a plan came to his mind. Sakura, I'm not to blame for this matter, Dasuna must bear the main responsibility. Responsible. Dasna hesitated. Until now, he didn't even know what happened. These two are missed shinobi. They are guys who will fight to the end no matter what the cost. Naruto explained to Datsuna, pointing to the two bound Kirin. Dasna was puzzled. You clearly know about their existence, why did you pretend to be dead just now? Naruto snorted coldly. Of course it is to understand the enemy's attack target. Obviously, the person being targeted is you. Dasna was still puzzled. What do you mean by these? If the enemy is coming at us, we will solve it. But if it is coming at you, then things are not so simple. Naruto snorted. The entrustment we accepted was to protect you from being attacked by ordinary people like robbers. Now that there are ninjas, the difficulty of entrusting is at least level B. And you didn't explain the situation in advance, which led to the current situation. Little Sakura was stunned. Do you think you should be responsible? We keep saying that we can't do it, so don't we still rely on us in times of crisis? Sasuke also snorted. Kakashi also nodded and echoed. Mr. Dasna, no matter what you have to hide, you are the one who doesn't report it now. The situation in front of you is beyond the scope of the entrustment. Dasna was at a loss for words, his eyes were erratic, and the previous arrogance and drunkenness all subsided at this moment. After a while, Dasna bowed deeply and said earnestly, I am mainly responsible for this matter, please listen to me explain the reason. Actually, I have been targeted by a super scary guy. You must have heard his name. He is a rich man of the shipping company, a man named Cardo. Hearing this, Kakashi was slightly surprised. Cardo of the shipping company. I heard that he is one of the few rich men in the world, but why did he follow you? The owner explained. On the surface, Cardo is the boss of the shipping company, but secretly he uses gangsters and ninjas to trade contraband, doing shady things. As he said that, he couldn't help revealing the color of memory. About a year ago, that guy fell in love with the land of waves. He acted recklessly with financial power and violence, and instantly monopolized the maritime traffic and transportation on the island. Like the land of waves, as long as this kind of island country controls the sea, it is tantamount to controlling all wealth, politics, and people. The only thing Kato fears now is the completion of the bridge that was under construction before. That's why you, as a bridge builder, were hindered by Kato and wanted to clear it. Sasuke suddenly said. Having said that, why hide the truth? Kakashi was puzzled. The Kingdom of Waves is an extremely poor country. Even the princes have no money. Naturally, I am even more impoverished. I can't afford the high rewards for tasks above B level. Dasna sighed. Having said that, it doesn't matter if you want to stop the commission. At worst, I will be assassinated when I go home. My 8-year-old granddaughter is in tears all day long. My daughter will also hate Konoha ninja for the rest of her life. She is lonely and painful. Live. Hearing the whole story, Sakura, Sasuke and Kakashi all had bad expressions. It seems that if they don't help, they are the most heinous bad guys. Only Naruto snorted coldly and said, everyone has his own destiny, wealth and honor are in the sky, if you don't take money, we can only stop entrusting. Naruto, do you still have any sympathy? Sakura couldn't help feeling sympathetic when she thought of the 8-year-old girl washing her face with tears. Sasuke didn't speak, but he stood by Sakura's side. Naruto said indignantly, Sakura, do you sympathize with him? Who sympathizes with you? These two mist ninjas are just Chunin's strength. With Kato's strength, we can definitely hire more powerful ninjas. If we are unable to deal with it at that time, Sasuke, really his death is what you want to see. And you Sasuke, you can't take care of yourself in a mess, and you still have the time to worry about others. Dasna's granddaughter is still alive after shedding tears, but your clan is gone. If you die in battle like this, who will revive Uchibo, who will avenge the tribe? Quote. Sakura and Sasuke fell silent for a moment. Naruto continued. Furthermore, even if we can help him, there will be no gain. Wouldn't it be good if we have time to do other commissions? As the saying goes, if you have money, you can turn ghosts around, and ghosts without money will not open the door. Why do we have to unconditionally help him with his moral kidnapping in a few words? There are so many injustices in the world, do we help for free every day? Having said that, Kakashi stopped talking. Indeed, even with the size of Muya village, it still needs to make money through entrustment, so there is no way to take care of the affairs of other villages. Seeing this, Daznamon was shocked. In the past, he relied on the old to sell the old, and kidnapped morality, but if he used it one by one, how could it not work? Seeing that Naruto and his party turned to leave, Dazna hurriedly said, "You can't leave. If you leave, the country of Wave will be hopeless. Old thing, don't be miserable here, you've lived a long life and you're shameless and skinless. One last word for you, natural selection, survival of the fittest. If you don't pay and want something in return, then wait to be destroyed bar." Naruto snorted coldly, and walked away without looking back. PFF'd. Dazna gritted his teeth and knelt on the ground, begging, "Everyone, don't go, please save the country of Bo." Seeing that Naruto and the others had no intention of stopping, Dazna's heart sank. "As long as the bridge can be built, I will try my best to get whatever you want. I know you don't have any money, but since you built the bridge, you should have a certain right to speak. My request is very simple. As long as the bridge is named after me, and a toll station is set up, charging $10 for each bridge crossing. Yen is enough. Can you agree to this request?" Naruto said. Hearing this, Dazna fell into deep thought. Once the bridge is built and a trade port is formed, the development of the country of waves will also improve, and the bridge toll of 10 yen is not much. Thinking about it, he nodded and said, "I can promise you this matter." Hearing this sentence, Naruto couldn't help but smile, and turned around to support Dazna enthusiastically. "Mr. Dazna, what are you doing kneeling on the ground? It's so cold on the ground, get up quickly, let's continue to set off." Seeing Naruto's 180-degree change, Dazna was stunned. What is this young man thinking? Not to mention that Dazna couldn't figure it out, Kakashi and the other three couldn't figure it out either. After disposing of the two Kiri ninja brothers, the group set off again. Not far away, Sasuke walked up to Naruto and asked in a low voice, "Naruto, why did you suddenly agree? 10 yen for each bridge crossing is not much, it's not enough for our entrustment this time." Naruto smiled and said, "What do you know? As an island country, the country of Wave has always relied on sea transportation and transportation. The transportation fee for each trip is not a small amount. As long as the bridge is completed, people will consider the bridge for transportation. After a long time, what do you think will happen? There will be a steady stream of money," Sasuke subconsciously said. After finishing speaking, he couldn't help taking a deep breath, and only then did he realize his decision. Although the bridge toll is not much each time, it will be collected every day. Not to mention the B-level entrustment, as long as it accumulates for a long time, the money may be much more than the A-level entrustment. Whoosh! Kakashi flashed to the side of the two, wondering, "Naruto, don't you think more than that?" "What else did Mr. Kakashi discover?" Naruto asked with a smile. Kakashi thought about it. "If this bridge is named after you, all countries will know that it was the ninja from Konoha village who gave a helping hand. While promoting friendship between the two countries, the people of the country of Nami will be more grateful to you. If the country develops, because of the prestige of Muya village, it will not dare to deduct the bridge toll, and this toll will naturally be obtained all the time." "Yes, that's it." Naruto smiled. What he wanted was fame and fortune. "But aren't you worried about the plan failing?" Sasuke still didn't understand. Naruto's move was too much of a gamble. Naruto waved his hand and said, "There is nothing to fail. If we don't accept this entrustment this time, Dazna will be assassinated, and the bridge will not be completed by then, and the country of waves will completely fall into Kato's control. So even if Dazna when Xena thought of my plan, he couldn't refuse it at all." Sasuke's eyes widened, and he couldn't help clapping his hands and exclaiming, "Naruto, you are really amazing, when did you think of this?" Naruto laughed without saying a word. Seeing this familiar smile, Sasuke couldn't help being surprised. Could it be that since he scolded you at that time, you've been scheming? He couldn't help but began to think back to Naruto's step-by-step, and found that Naruto had actually been plotting against Dazna from the very beginning. Sure enough, Naruto smiled, life and death are unpredictable. This guy is really full of bad water. Fortunately, he signed a servant contract with Naruto, so he doesn't have to worry about being plotted against by Naruto. So, you never thought of rejecting this commission from the beginning? Kakashi frowned and said, "It's just that what you said earlier made me a little concerned. What if Kato really invited a powerful ninja? Although Naruto knew that the strongest Kato had invited was Zabuza, he couldn't tell Kakashi directly. After thinking for a while, he said, "There's nothing to worry about. I have deployed Flying Thunder God along the way. Please come to Jonin and we can fight. If you invite Ying, we can run if we can't fight. Besides, I don't believe that a shadow-level powerhouse can assassinate an ordinary person regardless of his image. If it is true, I don't mind publicizing this matter, and see if this shadow is not ashamed." That's right, Kakashi thought, and his brows slowly relaxed. With Flying Thunder God here, there is no need to worry about your own safety. But when Naruto thought of not beheading again, he had a lot of thoughts in his heart. When watching Hokage back then, Zabuza and Bai were the villains he first felt. The tragic ending of the two made him even more sad. Now that this time travel's in, he has to make a good change, and he must never let the two of them end up in tragedy or even a tragic ending. All the way without a word, Naruto hung at the end of the team, thinking about different plans. There were no other ninjas who came to assassinate on the road. After passing through a large forest, there is a sea in front of everyone. The sky above the sea is shrouded in fog, making it difficult to see clearly inside. Dasna walked to the beach and fired a flare. Not long after, a boatman in sweatshirt came to the shore with a wooden boat. "This is the boatman from the Kingdom of Waves, everyone can rest assured." After Dasna explained, he boarded the ship first, and the others boarded the ship one after another after checking the surroundings for any abnormalities. After boarding the boat, Dasna and the boatman talked about what happened along the way and exchanged pleasantries for a long while. And the wooden boat gradually sailed into the thick fog. In the dense fog, there was only a gray area, and a huge broken bridge could be seen vaguely. The broken part was very neat, and there were several large machines on it. This should be the unfinished bridge. The boatman wearing a bamboo hat rowed a boat, his expression gradually serious. "It's coming soon. Dasna, it seems that he hasn't been found here yet. I'm so sorry." His owner apologized. Immediately, the ship slowly rowed into a huge bridge hole. After passing through the bridge hole, the dazzling sunlight blinded everyone. When he opened his eyes again, it was completely different from the gray scene before. What you can see is the blue water, and occasionally a few green trees take root in the water, which doesn't look very deep. On the periphery of the water, there is a platform built of wooden piles, on which is a dilapidated wooden house. The boat stopped at a shore, and after everyone disembarked, the boatman said in a deep voice, "I can only take you here, so be careful next time." Seeing the ship go far away, everyone continued to move forward, and this place is already in the territory of the Kingdom of Waves. It's just that Kakashi's expression changed suddenly before he set foot on land, and he pulled out a dart and shot it into a bush. "Everyone be careful," Kakashi shouted in a deep voice. But in the next moment, a small white rabbit jumped out of the grass, obviously frightened, and jumped into the distance. Sakura's tense heart instantly relaxed, and she couldn't help complaining, "Mr. Kakashi, don't be surprised." Naruto bowed his body and said, "Everyone be careful, Sasuke Sakura, you two protect Mr. Dasna." Sasuke didn't refute, and stood in front of Dasna in a flash. Sakura didn't move, and still complained, "Sasuke, don't be nervous with Naruto, everyone has seen it, you are just an innocent little white rabbit." "Sakura, come here," Sasuke urged. After hearing Sasuke's order, Sakura didn't refute, and ran to Dasna's side honestly, but her face was full of indifference, and she felt that everyone was too nervous. Seeing this, Naruto couldn't help but frown and said, "Sakura, stay vigilant, did you learn the knowledge in school for nothing? This is a snow rabbit. So what about the snow rabbit, it's still just an innocent little rabbit." In the middle of the sentence, Sakura's face changed drastically. "No, the snow rabbit's white fur should only be in winter when the sunshine time is very short, but now it is summer, so it is said that it is kept indoors that will not be exposed to sunlight, and it is specially used for a snow rabbit as a stand-in." Sakura didn't dare to be careless anymore, she quickly pulled out kunai, and looked around vigilantly. Whoosh! Suddenly, a piercing sound came from a big tree beside the road. Naruto quickly shouted, "Everyone get down." Everyone fell down immediately, and then saw a wide blade, whirling and slashing against them, almost harvesting their lives. "The enemy has appeared." Boom! The wide blade cut heavily on the tree, and even a tree as thick as a barrel was half embedded. Whoosh! A figure jumped around and landed on the slender handle of the blade. Taking a closer look, this is a tall man with a bare upper body. His figure is relatively slender, but his grayish-yellow back muscles reveal a sense of explosion, and it seems that he can explode with terrifying power comparable to a cheetah at any time. With his back to the crowd, he tilted his head slightly. His face was covered with a bandage so he couldn't see his face clearly, but it didn't affect the sharpness in his eyes at all. This is the look that a person who has killed someone might have, full of indifference and coldness. That guy seems to be Kurigakure's fugitive ninja. Momochi will never kill him again. Kakashi narrowed his eyes slightly, his expression serious. If this guy is an opponent, it may be a bit difficult now. Looks like you are Kakashi from Sharingan, but no matter who you are, quickly hand over the old man to me. No longer speak in a cold voice, full of sense of command. The leaves are falling, and the scene is full of chills. Kakashi slowly lifted the Konoha forehead guard, revealing the long scar on the left eye, and the black pupil turned scarlet in an instant. It was the Sangodama Sharingan. Oh, I didn't expect to meet the legendary Sharingan so soon. It's such an honor. Buzan let out a light sigh, turned around slowly, and took a closer look, and found that his eyes were a little more dignified. Sakura couldn't help asking, what exactly is Sharingan? Sasuke has it, and Kakashi-sensei has it too. Why don't I have it? Sasuke said in a deep voice. Sharingan can see phantom, ninjutsu, and body skills at the same time, and at the same time bounce back the eyesight. Sharingan is a kind of pupil unique to pupil masters, but Sharingan is in our eyes. Among the Uchiha clan, only some people have a special physique. What is going on here? I heard that Uchiha's clan has been wiped out. I never thought I could see Uchiha's little devil. Zabujan cast his cold eyes on Sasuke, and said coldly, but Sharingan's ability is more than that. What's even more frightening is that those eyes can not only see through the opponent's skills, but also copy them. After the voice fell, Bucho moved his fingers slightly to form a special handprint. In the next moment, the clear air gradually blurred, and soon formed a large white fog. Zabujan looked at Kakashi coldly. When I was still in Kurigakure's assassination unit, your information was recorded in the handbook that I carried with me. The copy ninja who copied more than 1,000 kinds of ninjutsu, Kakashi. What, is Mr. Kakashi such a powerful ninja? Sakura couldn't help exclaiming, but the more so, the more he couldn't understand that Kakashi would listen to Naruto's decision. What makes Naruto different? Before she could figure it out, she said in a cold voice, that's all the gossip. I have to kill that old man quickly, but Kakashi, it seems that I want to kill you first. After the words fell, he drew out the beheading sword and flew towards Kakashi. The beheading sword mercilessly slashed at Kakashi's neck. Boom! The moment Kakashi's kunai touched the beheading sword, he was smashed to pieces, but it also gave Kakashi a chance to escape. If he failed with one blow, he would not be able to fight anymore, so he turned over and jumped, and then stood still lightly. How is it possible to stand on the water? Sakura exclaimed again. At this moment, Buzan was standing on the water without falling, as if walking on flat ground. It seemed so unreal. I saw him put one hand on his chest and point to the sky with the other, forming a yin seal at the same time. Ninja art of hidden mist. As the voice fell, the fog became thicker, almost to the point where you couldn't see your fingers. The figure that did not cut was also hidden in the mist. Everyone. Just as Kakashi was about to give an order, Naruto interrupted, I thought of it. Since just now, he has been lying on the ground thinking about the plan, how to change the tragic ending of not being killed, and finally he came up with a good plan. Death without beheading, in the final analysis, is to become the enemy of the 7th class. Those who offend the protagonist will definitely end badly. So Naruto's method is also very simple, just subdue it and don't cut it. What did you think? Kakashi asked. Naruto coughed lightly, I think it's better to let me deal with it. Hearing this, Kakashi's eyes showed joy. He still has a certain degree of difficulty and risk factor in dealing with no killing, and it is very likely that he has no time to take care of Dazna's safety, and their commission is to escort Dazna, and protecting Dazna's safety is the top priority. So after thinking twice, he hoped that Naruto would make a move. After all, Naruto has the power of Flying Thunder God and 9 tails, so it couldn't be easier to solve the problem. Now that Naruto took the initiative to invite Ying, how could he be unhappy? Sasuke and Sakura, who are familiar with Naruto's strength, have no objection to this decision. Seeing that everyone agreed, Kakashi nodded and said, "Naruto, let's make a quick decision." "It is good," Naruto responded and rushed into the mist. The remaining Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura formed a swastika formation to guard around Dasna. Dasna was puzzled. "Kakashi, why did you let him go alone? Wouldn't it be dangerous?" Hearing this, the 3 of them couldn't help laughing. Among these people, Naruto is the strongest and has the strongest ability to escape. Dasna didn't get an answer from the 3 of them, but was terrified of being laughed at by the 3 of them, and didn't speak anymore. Meanwhile, Naruto was already deep in the fog. Not long after, he heard eerie voices coming from all around. 8 places: links, spine, lungs, liver, carotid, subclavian, kidneys, heart. So, which key point should we choose? The sound of Zabujan sounded like the god of death in hell, as if he had already regarded Naruto as a plaything, and could easily take his life away at any time. However, there was no panic on Naruto's face, only a playful smile hung on the corner of his mouth. "If you don't kill me again, I know you wanted to kill the tyrannical Mizukage, and you ran out after the coup d'etat failed. Come out, let's discuss it, and I can help you solve the Mizukage matter. Little ghost, no matter where you got this news, don't overestimate yourself. Now, you are just the fish of Renben's knife." The gloomy voice of Zabuzan sounded again in the dense fog. "If that's the case, then there's nothing you can do." Naruto shook his head helplessly. The moment his body bowed slightly, countless 9-tailed chakras rushed into his body, and his body suddenly flew out like a cannonball. The dark red chakra even came out through the body, turning into 4 thick tails, and launched a search without dead ends in different directions. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It only took 3 seconds for Naruto to grab one of his tails and not cut it off. Whoosh! The tail drew in quickly, and he was caught in front of Naruto if he didn't cut it off. Looking at Zabuchi, who was burned miserably by the 9 tails chakra, Naruto spread his hands and sighed. "It would be nice to be obedient and show up early. How could you suffer this flesh and blood in vain? Why do you say that? Why do you need to force me to take action? How is it possible? How can you be so strong?" If he coughed violently again, he coughed up a few big mouthfuls of blood, leaving a cloud of yin on the ground. At this moment, he no longer had the original indifference, only fear remained in his eyes. If Naruto was stronger than him, he wouldn't be like this. But now, it is obvious that Naruto is much stronger than him. It's a one-hit kill. It's just that he has never heard of a young man being so powerful, and his entire worldview feels like it's collapsing. Of course, the fear was only short-lived. Soon, the fear in his eyes turned to anger. He sensed an evil chakra similar to Mizukage from Naruto. "Are you a hateful Jinchuriki too?" No longer beheaded Shinchi, his eyes were bloodshot. With that appearance, he wished to skin Naruto and cramp. Hey, don't look at me with such scary eyes. I'm not the confused water shadow in your Wuin village, I still have self-awareness." Naruto was quite speechless. He was not going to kill his father and enemy again. As for hating Renjuli so much, it is conceivable how many unconscionable things that old boy Yakura did in Wuin village. Self-aware, what do you mean? Bujin couldn't break free from 9 tails chakra's transformed tail, so he began to think about Naruto's words. It's okay if he doesn't want to, but after simply thinking about it, he realizes that something is wrong. Naruto guided. Recall carefully, has Yakura always been tyrannical? Or has his temperament changed suddenly? Zabuzin said without hesitation. Don't recall, it's just a sudden change in temperament. If he had a dark and cruel personality in the past, he wouldn't have become the 4th Mizukage. But, what do you mean by this? Could it be that his temperament has changed drastically? Is it artificial? I didn't expect you to be quite smart, you can understand a little bit. Naruto was slightly surprised, and explained, that's right, Yakura was controlled by people with illusion for a long time, which made Wuin village into the Blood Mist village. The strength of the 4th generation is extremely powerful, how could it be controlled by illusion, unless No longer racking his brains, a sudden inspiration flashed, unless it is the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. Only the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan can have such terrifying control. Hearing this, Naruto was completely shocked. He originally thought that Zaibuzan was a fool who could only kill people, but he was so clever that he had already thought up a lot of explanations, but at this moment it was completely useless. But he would be happy if he could save some tongue. However, before he could open his mouth, he said even more crazily if he didn't kill him, sure enough, Konoha is responsible for all of this. I said how Konoha allowed Uchiha to perish. Now it seems that there is no proof of death. Konoha, what a great job. Naruto hurriedly interrupted. Stop, stop. It doesn't take your effort to think about it. It's not Konoha who killed your village and the village chief. Impossible, if it wasn't for Konoha, how could you not be affected at all? Zaibuzan frowned. Naruto felt that it would be useless to talk too much, and after taking out his colored contact lenses and putting them on, his blue pupils instantly turned into scarlet Sharingans. It's an established fact that that person endangered you, Mizukage, you don't need to think about it so much. Let me just say that I have Sharingan, which can undo Yagura's illusion control and restore the stability of your Wuin village. Seeing this, I will not be silent anymore. It took him a long time before he opened his mouth and said, why did you help us in Wuin village? Is this also Konoha's plan? I don't believe in the good things that fall from the sky. Naruto said indifferently. My purpose is very simple. As my younger brother, you must obey my orders no matter what the situation is. If you can do it, I will help you. You can understand that this is a deal. Quote. Okay, I promise you. It exceeded Naruto's expectations, and he agreed in an instant without cutting it, and he said it firmly. Instead, Naruto was a little confused. Are you not afraid that I will break the contract? Zaibuzan shook his head, and said hoarsely, the 7 ninja swordsmen have gone their separate ways, and the chances of launching a coup d'etat and succeeding again are very slim. Regardless of whether your so-called illusion is true or not, I am willing to take a gamble. After all, you are also Jinchuriki, even if you can't change the 4th Mizukage, you are more capable than me to kill the 4th Mizukage. It's just. Just what? Zaibuzan laughed at himself and said, it's just that I don't understand why you need me. You can easily kill me. To you, I should be useless. Maybe. Naruto smiled. He didn't want Zaibuzan and Bai to die miserably, which can be regarded as making up for the childhood shadow of his previous life. Of course, it's not that simple. He calculated just now that the use value of being alive is far more than he imagined. First, Zaibuzan has an assassination organization in his hands, which is very convenient for Naruto to develop his own power in the future. Second, this assassination organization is also the target of Kaduo's employment, and there must be many opportunities to get close to Kaduo. As a heinous fool, Cardo amassed countless money. For this huge sum of money, Naruto is extremely jealous. He was so poor that he would feel sorry if he didn't rob Cardo, a rich man, to help his own poor. Third, Zaibuzan itself is a very powerful ninja, and with Bai's blood successor limit, this combination can also help Naruto and do many things that Naruto is inconvenient to do. Thinking of these 3 points, Naruto felt that it was extremely important not to be cut again. No more, since you agree to the transaction, then sign the contract. Naruto took out the servant contract from the system backpack. Naruto couldn't be unmoved by the incomparably rich wealth alone. Even if he wasted a precious quota, he had to hold on to it firmly and never cut it off. Although he can also contract Kado, it is completely unnecessary. He still has his own bottom line. A villain like Kaduo should go to the 17th floor of hell. Open the servant contract book, turn to the 3rd page, a golden light flashes, and rushes towards the voluntary surrender. Under the golden light, countless obscure runes were arranged in an orderly manner, interlocking and deeply imprinted on Zaibuzan's body. With all the runes hidden, a huge golden hexagram appeared under Zaibuzan's feet, rising gradually, and finally imprinted on Zaibuzan's heart. When it and the golden hexagram on the servant contract reflected each other, a system notification sounded in Naruto's mind. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing the servant contract with Zaibuzan. Alas, if I had thought of the value of not cutting it, there was no need to waste my tongue, and it would be great to sign the contract directly. Naruto couldn't help laughing at himself. But it is not useless to say so much before, at least it is a good thing to make Zai Bujin willing to cooperate actively. What did you do to me? No more chopping, I just feel that there is an extra brand in my heart, and it seems that from now on, I can't go against Naruto's will. It's just a contract, to prevent you from breaking the promise, don't worry. Naruto waved his hand and said, okay, you go back first, I will think about the action plan, and you will come here to meet me in 3 days. Yes, your lord. That being the case, I didn't ask any more questions, and left in a blink of an eye. Naruto left a mark of the flying thunder god on the ground, and after he finished, he suddenly woke up. Hey, why are you walking so fast? Get rid of the fog first. How can I go back to this blind man? After finally waiting for the fog to dissipate, Naruto returned along the original road and found everyone. Naruto, how's the situation? Kakashi asked. That guy couldn't beat me, so he ran away in the thick fog. Next time I catch him, I will never let him go lightly. Naruto touched his nose, eyes slightly wandering. Tell a lie temporarily, otherwise it will be very difficult for him to end. After all, it involves a ninja from the outer village or a ninja who defected. If you tell the truth, there is no guarantee that Kakashi will not think too much. In this case, let's continue on the road when the fog clears. Kakashi said, and everyone set off again. Naruto was still hanging at the end of the team, thinking about the next plan. This time, he was not the only one hanging at the end, but also Sasuke. Sasuke lowered his voice and said, Naruto, is it possible that Kakashi's Sharingan is also a colored contact lens? You think too much. Sharingan is a rare blood succession limit, and my color contact lenses are unique, how could there be everywhere in the street? Kakashi can have this Sharingan, the story behind it involves too much, it's too early to tell you now, you just need to know that his eyes came from legitimate channels. Naruto explained casually. In the final analysis, it's all the ghosts of Obito. This guy Obito can be regarded as interspersed with the entire Hokage, and he has done a lot of immoral things. Even if Sasuke knows it at this moment, it will only destroy his mood, so it is better not to say anything. Hearing this, Sasuke stopped talking. There was nothing to say along the way, this time they walked for less than an hour, and everyone came to a town. It is said to be a town, but it is not as prosperous as Muya village. It can even be said that it looks like a desolate slum. People in the town lowered their heads when they walked, looking timid and timid. There are also many children squatting on the street begging along the street. Scanning the store, the inside is even more dilapidated. On the huge shelves, there are only scattered crooked melons and dates. Whether it is a person or an object, it looks extremely depressing. The front is my home. Dasna pointed to a wooden house road. Naruto and others followed Dasna into the cabin. Although it is not a bare house, the decoration is also extremely simple. Seeing Dazina enter the door, the middle-aged woman in the house hurriedly got up to greet her, and her frowns were relieved. Father, you are finally back. Dasna nodded. Yes, I'm back. By the way, where is Inari? He should go to the shore. I'll go find him right away. Saying that, the middle-aged woman hurried out to find someone. Not long after, she brought home a little boy wearing a hat. After Dazna's introduction, Kakashi and others learned that the middle-aged woman is Dazna's daughter Jinbo, and the little boy is Dazna's grandson Inari. Mr. Dasna, what you said earlier was a lovely granddaughter, why did you suddenly become a grandson? Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly. Really, maybe I made a slip of the tongue, ha ha ha. Dasna scratched his head, looking a little embarrassed. If this is the case, I can't believe your previous promise, so let's draw up a letter of commitment and sign it. In order to be safe, Naruto had to do the same. After Dasna postponed the signature and picture of the letter of commitment, Naruto took it away solemnly. But seeing the letter of commitment, he couldn't help but make a plan. Cardo's property can also be obtained through property transfer. With the threat of not beheading again, it is difficult for Kado not to submit. Thinking of this, he began to draft a plan, and it took a full day to prepare everything in detail. For the next 3 days, Kakashi didn't waste time, teaching everyone how to control chakra. Sakura has a small amount of chakra and is easy to control, so her speed is the fastest, and she climbs the tree easily. Sasuke opened the Schwanguyu Sharingan in advance, the control is more precise, and it takes less time than the original book. Only Naruto was stumped by climbing trees. In the original book, Naruto's chakra is amazing and difficult to control. But Naruto at that time was only because of the large amount of chakra of the Uzumaki clan and the slightly leaked power of the Nine Tails. But now, Naruto has mastered all the power of Nine Tails. To be precise, his body is no longer chakra but chatla. It is easy to zoom in and recruit him, but it is more difficult to control than in the original book. Not only that, but his sign and reward in the Kingdom of Waves this time not only did not solve his current tree climbing problem, it was also outrageous. Each system check-in reward is related to the check-in location, and there are no ninjas in the land of Wave, so naturally there is no ninjutsu related. Of course, up to this point, everything was within Naruto's expectations. When mentioning the country of waves, the first thing that comes to mind is Dazna's bridge building technology, so Naruto has been looking forward to what kind of rewards the system will give out that will be related to bridge building. Super construction ability, or the ability of precise calculation. Or in the absence of sentient beings, the bug ability of creating things out of thin air. The answer given by the system is, none at all. Up to now, he still clearly remembers the system's notification tone. It is detected that the host stays in the land of waves for an hour, successfully punches in, and rewards the blessing of courage. That's right, what the system gives is a buff skill blessing of courage. The reason is also very clear, because at this time the Kingdom of Waves was suppressed by Cardo and lacked courage. But the blessing of courage is not for improving courage, but a buff for increasing damage. Blessing of courage. Bless teammates within meters, increase teammates, physical attack power, magic illusion attack power, independent ninjutsu attack power, strength intelligence chakra hit rate, and increase their own skill attack power and hit rate. Although this reward is quite good, Naruto's immediate difficulty is climbing trees. It doesn't matter if you can't climb the tree, the main thing is that Sasuke and Sakura have completed it, and it would be too shameful for him not to complete it. Fortunately, his comprehension is not bad, and he finally finished climbing the tree in 3 days. Watching the sunset, Naruto stood on the top of the tree and let out a long sigh of relief. Jumping off the big tree, he quickly formed seals with both hands in the order of Cho Shu Chen Zi Shu Hai Si Yin. Oh, accompanied by a puff of white smoke, a shadow clone identical to Naruto appeared in front of Naruto. The main body, Naruto, took out a document from the system backpack and handed it to the shadow avatar, solemnly said, "It's almost time, you can go and meet again." "It is good." The shadow clone nodded, and suddenly disappeared from the spot in the next moment. "It's troublesome enough." Naruto shook his head helplessly, turned around and walked towards Dazna's house. In order to avoid being suspicious by Kakashi and others, his body had to stay in case of emergencies, so he had to split into 2 groups. When the main body Naruto arrived at Dazna's house, the shadow clone Naruto also came to the meeting place through the mark of the flying thunder god left before. Hearing the rustling sound from the tree, Naruto said calmly, "Since you're here, come out." The voice fell, and 2 figures jumped down from the big tree not far away. "See Naruto-sama." Among them, the tall figure is no longer beheaded. The other person in a kimono is wearing a mask, and judging by her attire, she is undoubtedly a girl. But Naruto knew that this person was Zaibaku's confidant, Bai. Not only that, this guy is not a girl, but a teenager. However, even though Shiro was a boy, Naruto couldn't help his heart beat faster. When watching Hokage before, the girl who surprised him for the first time was Shiro. Especially after being influenced by the culture of Station B, when he learned that Bai was a teenager, he became even more excited. "Boys, it's amazing. Master Naruto, don't worry, this is my assistant, Bai." Seeing that Naruto kept looking at Shiro, he hurriedly explained to avoid unnecessary misunderstanding. Naruto nodded. "Since you are an assistant, you must always show your true face. Bai, take off your mask." "Yes, Naruto-sama." Without the slightest hesitation, Bai took off the mask. Behind the mask is a delicate face, revealing the childishness of a teenager. The tenderness in his eyes is really hard to imagine. He is a ninja who kills without batting an eye. This guy Kishimoto, it's okay to draw a girl and say he's a boy, but he still has the heart to draw this cute boy to death. How can he be repaired? Naruto couldn't help complaining in his heart, but since he traveled to Hokage, all these tragedies would not happen. Come on, take me to your base. Yes, no more slashing in response, and swept in one direction. Naruto gathered the Nine Tails chakra under his feet, and his speed increased several times. Applying what you have learned will not waste 3 days of hard work. Not long after, the three of them came to a ruin full of weeds. Bai pulled out kunai, pried it hard at one of the ruins, and a door hidden in the weeds and parallel to the ground opened. Naruto followed the two into the door, and he watched everything with great interest. Below the door is a long stone staircase. Going down the stairs, there is a hollow that has been dug out. Several rooms are arranged as a whole. At this moment, there are several Kuririn wearing masks patrolling. After seeing the three of them, the mist ninjas bowed their hands and saluted. See Mr. Zabuku, Mr. Bai. They didn't ask who Naruto was, and continued to patrol. Seeing all of this, Naruto was suddenly stunned. No wonder Zabujan was never arrested after he fled. It turned out that he set up an underground base, and the possibility of being discovered was greatly reduced. From this point of view, there is still some brains in not beheading. Master Naruto, this is the list of our organization personnel, please have a look. After entering an empty room, Zabuza took out a list. Naruto took it for inspection, his eyes couldn't help showing joy. In this organization, excluding Zabuza and Bai, there are 37 people in total. Among them, there are 33 Zonnin strengths and special JNIN strengths. It was much better than Naruto expected. After all, when watching anime, he only saw Zabujan, Shiro, and Oni brothers, generally only 4. It's just that he still doesn't understand one thing. When he watched Hokage, he didn't understand the difference between special Jonin and Jonin, so he couldn't help asking. Zabujan explained. The ranking of ninja strength recognized by the 5 major countries, from weak to strong, is divided into low ninja, middle ninja, especially high ninja, elite high ninja, and shadow. Junin in particular has outstanding strength in a certain aspect, and its strength is between Chunin and Jonin. Junin has all-round strength up to the standard, but there is no sure-kill ninjutsu. Elite Jonin is the strength up to the standard, and has a must-kill ninjutsu, trick. Generally speaking, the elite Jonin is the mainstay of the village, but the fame and influence are not as good as Kage. After listening to Zabujan's explanation, Naruto nodded suddenly. In this way, Yabisu is only outstanding in education, that is, he is particularly Jonin. And the ones like Asuma who don't have big moves are ordinary Junin. As for Kakashi and Kai, who are powerful and have big moves, they can be regarded as elite JNIN. It's no wonder that Kakashi will become the 6th Hokage, but he has enough reputation. After thinking everything through, Naruto looked at the list again, and found it easy to understand. There are 4 special Junin in this organization, 2 are good at investigation and assassination, and 2 are good at financial management. After Buzan fled, if he wanted to make a comeback, he would need a lot of money, and it was reasonable to have 2 people who were good at financial management. But this helped Naruto a lot. If you don't want to cut it, you call the 2 brothers Takagi. Naruto thought. The 2 brothers Takagi-jin and Takagi-yin are special Jonin who are good at financial management. This time the plan is to annex Kato's property. With the 2 brothers joining, it will be a lot easier. After a while, 2 short, pot-bellied, fat men who looked like landlords instead of ninjas walked in. Now that everyone is here, let me make a long story short. I have only one purpose, and that is to want all of Kato's property. Naruto said firmly. Hearing this, the gold and silver brothers suddenly showed joy. Master Naruto has a good opinion, our 2 brothers have already had this intention. As long as we control Kaduo's financial resources, we will have resources that are incomparably rich. I don't feel right. Zaibuzan shook his head and said, I also had this idea before, but Kaduo is cautious and always has a large number of bodyguards by his side. There is a chance to assassinate him, but it is as difficult as heaven to get his property. After investigation, his property is scattered all over the world, and it is impossible to collect it. Scattered all over the world. That's easier. Naruto chuckled. If you don't want to kill again, your thinking is too roundabout. In fact, there is the simplest way. We are all ninjas, and sometimes we have to start from the ninja's point of view. Zabuzin puzzled and said, "What can I do? Apart from killing people, I don't know that ninjas can do other things." Naruto was speechless for a moment, and he didn't bother to go around in circles with Zabuku's elm head. "As ninjas, we will undoubtedly use the transformation technique. You also mentioned just now that Kato's property is scattered all over the world. We can definitely send people to transform into Kato's appearance and go to various places to collect and transfer his property." Quote. Hearing this, the Gold and Silver brothers were even more enlightened and gave Naruto a thumbs up. Sometimes the method is very simple, but the simplest method is easier to ignore. Now that Naruto has instructed them, the Gold and Silver brothers seem to have opened the door to a new world, and countless small ideas are coming out. But he still frowned. Master Naruto's strategy is indeed clever, but Kato is not stupid. The loss of property will not be discovered for a while, but it will be discovered eventually. "Oh, you are so stupid and pitiful." Naruto sighed. "You just said that you are good at killing people. Then wouldn't you kill Kato, then transform into Kato, and continue to play Kato's role? If you transfer property like this, you won't was discovered." Seeing that he still has doubts about not beheading, Naruto continued, "Kato can do this, it must be very deep and good at calculating, then you should catch Kato, ask all Kato's secrets, and then act Kato will not reveal his flaws." As he spoke, he threw out a document. "There is a detailed plan here, follow the plan, within half a year, all of Kato's property can be transferred to this organization's name." No matter how hard he opened the file and read it carefully, he suddenly understood after just a few glances, his eyes flashed from time to time, and his body trembled uncontrollably. Master Naruto's talent is truly astonishing, I admire. The principle of Naruto's plan is extremely simple. To put it plainly, it's just a trick. Gold, Silver, you will be responsible for Kato in the future. Naruto said lightly. "Yes, Naruto-sama, we will definitely do our best." The Gold and Silver brothers were immediately extremely excited. For them who are proficient in financial management, being able to participate in this operation is something they never dared to imagine. Naruto nodded slightly. With two brothers, Gold and Silver, in command, he didn't need to go into too much detail about Zabuzin. "Okay, you guys go down first, I have other arrangements." Naruto waved his hand, and the Gold and Silver brothers saluted and left the room. "Master Naruto has any other arrangements, just ask." At this moment, Zabuzin has cast his eyes on Naruto's admiration. He has lived for more than 20 years, only killing and dying. What Naruto brought was the flower of hope he had been longing for. "My arrangement is like this." Naruto began to assign tasks to Zabuzin and Shiro, and it took him an hour to finish. After listening to Naruto's words, Zabuzin and Shiro looked extremely excited. "I'm looking forward to meeting you in 2 days. I'm leaving first." "Congratulations, Naruto-sama." After Zabuzin and Bai Gongjing saluted, Naruto lifted the shadow clone and disappeared completely in a cloud of white smoke. Meanwhile, Dazner's home. Naruto had just finished his dinner when his body trembled suddenly, and a large section of both familiar and unfamiliar memories rushed into his mind. "What's wrong?" Sasuke asked. "Fine." Naruto shook his head, but the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise. Now he feels more and more that the shadow clone is useful, and every time it is sent out, it can give him unexpected gains. This time he sent the shadow clone just to arrange tasks for Zabuzin, and he didn't even think about signing in. But after staying too long in Zabuzin's underground base, he unexpectedly got a sign-in reward. It is detected that the host stays in the Zabuzin underground base for 1 hour, and the check-in is successful, and the water escape and water dragon bomb technique will be rewarded. Accompanied by the system prompt, a memory that seemed to be inherited emerged from the depths of his mind, and all the water attribute chakra in his body was mobilized, washing his limbs and bones. He only felt that the whole person was floating like a fairy, and there was a faint sound of dragon chant in his head, as if he could create a supreme water dragon with his hand. It took a quarter of an hour for Ming to fully master this technique. It is enough to see the complexity of this technique. Water escape water dragon bullet technique. Create a water dragon behind and charge forward, knocking the enemy far away. In Naruto's impression, this technique is only a B-level ninjutsu, and the complicated reason is only due to the seal. Because he obtained this technique from Zabuzin, his water dragon bullet technique is not a simplified version, but a perfect water dragon bullet technique. There are 44 seal gestures alone. This ninjutsu was amazing in the early stage of Naruto, but Kishimoto was too lazy to draw in the later stage, and he could enlarge the move with only a few seals or even without seals. This also created the classic water dragon bullet technique, the ninjutsu with the longest release time in the whole Naruto. Regardless of the practical value, Naruto's first impression of this technique is that it is pretentious enough. The process of crazy seal formation is really cool, especially the water dragon that condenses at the end is extremely cool. This technique is really good for pretending to be coercive. Naruto has secretly decided that in future battles, as long as the time is right, he must use it. Otherwise, punching and kicking relying on the power of nine tails is no different from One Punch Man, and his arrogance cannot be revealed at all. However, just when Naruto was feeling complacent, a discordant and childish voice came from the dinner table. Why do you have to work so hard to this point? Even if you practice, you can't beat Kaduo's subordinates. No matter how many beautiful words you say and how hard you try, in front of the real strong, the weak can only be defeated. If you stay here, you will only be defeated. A dead end. Naruto raised his head and saw that it was Inari with tears in his eyes who spoke. Naruto still has a deep impression on this child. Inari was originally cowardly, but he had courage because of the appearance of his stepfather Kaisa, but the reality was cruel. Keisha's excellent performance made Kato dissatisfied, and he killed chickens to make an example of monkeys. This made Inari's remaining courage disappear and completely became a cowardly crybaby. But how miserable Inari is, what does it have to do with Naruto? He is not the Naruto of the original book either, he is not so nosy, let alone overflowing with sympathy. Especially when Inari interrupted his complacency, it made him even more upset. I tried to get in your way. Why do you like to meddle so much? Inari clenched his fists, tears kept falling, he roared, shut up, you are the one who meddles in other people's business, I get angry when I see you, you don't know this country at all, and you still love to show off so much, it's painful you don't know anything about things, I'm different from a guy like you who smiles all day. Hearing this, Naruto laughed. Yeah, we're different, I won't cry like you, complaining and belittling others when I can't do it myself. Guys who have time to play tricks here and don't put in real effort or self-inflicted to be weak. Give you 2 words, serve it right. A person like you wastes air while alive, wastes land when dead, and wastes Japanese currency while still alive. By the way, your family has no money, otherwise your grandfather wouldn't have lied when he hired us. Or, let me give you a suggestion. Anyway, you think you can't defeat Kato, and you have been living in Kato's shadow. You might as well die, so that you can save some food for your family. Maybe without you, your mom can also remarry to a good family without worry. This is a happy ending, don't you think? After being scolded by Naruto, Inari's tears flowed like a fountain, and he couldn't stop it at all. Naruto, your words are a bit too much. Sakura frowned. Past, I still don't think it's enough. Naruto snorted coldly. Boom, enough. Dasna jumped up, glaring at Naruto. Naruto said with a playful smile. What's the matter, the young one can't do it, you just came out as an old one. If that's the case, I'll talk about you too. Do you really think that building a bridge is useful? Even if you build a bridge, Kato can also tear it down. He stopped you because you brought hope to the people of the Kingdom of Waves. Kato only needs cowardly wage earners who listen to him. Dealing with you is like dealing with Keisha, killing chickens to make an example to monkeys, completely cutting off the people's thoughts. To be honest, the country of Bo is just a backcountry. Kaduo came here just because you are easy to bully and have a little use value. If you have the courage to resist, Kaduo is too lazy to waste energy on this meatless hard bone, after all, it's not worth it at all. The more he said, the angrier Naruto became. If it weren't for the lack of courage in the land of waves, he wouldn't have signed a buff skill blessed with courage. But upon hearing this, Dasna's face changed drastically, and he suddenly realized. Indeed, the Kingdom of Waves used to be able to live and work in peace and contentment without a bridge. What is missing now is only the courage to resist. It's like Inari who is living in the shadow of Kato at the moment. Understood, I understand everything now. Naruto, thank you. Dasna bowed respectfully at 90 degrees to Naruto. Understood. What do you understand? Naruto was a little confused by Dazna's bow, and the anger in his heart was a little less. Dazna said, Naruto, believe me, I really understand. Whether you said Inari or me before, it was to encourage us to have courage. Your preaching of being a bad person willingly, I have never heard of it before. I still misunderstood, and now I feel that I am nothing, I am very sorry. As he said that, he pulled Inari, and said sternly, don't cry, don't you understand Naruto's good intentions? You are a man, so put away your tears and face difficulties fearlessly together. Inari also gradually stopped crying, and he also bowed deeply to Naruto. Sorry, I misunderstood you before, but I understand now, and I will work hard in the future. Ha! Seeing the performance of the grandpa and grandson, Naruto suddenly couldn't laugh or cry. Naruto originally planned to scold him again, to express his grievances. But seeing that Dazna and Inari both sincerely apologized and regarded him as a good person, he didn't continue. After taking a deep breath, he put on the appearance of an expert, stroked his beardless chin and said, you can teach me, since you understand, it's not in vain for me to waste my hard work. Thank you Naruto-kun, your lord has a lot, we really admire you. Dazna and Inari thanked each other repeatedly. Sakura also lowered her head in shame, and said, Naruto, I misunderstood you, I didn't expect you to be so well-intentioned. Kakashi and Sasuke, who never spoke, also smiled at Naruto, thinking that Naruto did a good job. Only Naruto knew in his heart that he was just swearing just now. Good guy, Daihua is okay. No words all night. The next morning. Since Naruto also finished climbing the tree, all members of class are in charge of Datsuna today. But as soon as he came to the bridge, an old worker in undershirt came in front of everyone. Dazna, can I take a step to speak? Kiki, what's the matter? Dishonor asked with concern. Kichi's eyes wandered, and he subconsciously avoided Dazna's concerned gaze. He lowered his head and said, actually, I've been thinking a lot recently. Can you let me quit the bridge building project? What? Why did you suddenly? Dazna's eyes widened immediately, and he looked at the other party puzzled. Kiki sighed and said, Dazna, I have been friends with you for many years, and I really want to help you, but if you act too recklessly, maybe even we will be targeted by Kato. Hearing this, Dazna couldn't help narrowing his eyes slightly. Kich continued to explain, and if you are all killed, the gain will outweigh the loss, so let's stop building bridges. It must not be like this. Dazna said in a deep voice, this bridge is the bridge of all of us. We just believe that this bridge can bring convenient logistics and transportation to the poor country of Waves, which has no resources. Bridge. But if you die because of it. Kich continued to speak, but was interrupted by Dishonor. Okay, let's stop here and get ready to start work. No, Dishonor, I still want to quit. Kich said firmly. Naruto, you are right. What this country lacks is not bridges, but courage. Dazna sighed to Naruto, turned to Kiki and said, do you think I'm not afraid of death? I have a widowed daughter and a poor grandson. I'm more afraid of death than anyone else. Even so, why are you building bridges? Kich wondered. Before Dazna could speak, there was a sound of hurried footsteps approaching from far to near. It was Inari. At this moment, Inari doesn't have any timid appearance, only the overalls that are too long and too big seem neither fish nor fowl. Grandpa, I also want to help build the bridge. I'm fine with moving logs. Why is Inari also here? Kiki didn't understand. As expected of my grandson. Dazna patted Inari on the shoulder, turned his head and said to Kiki, don't you understand? This bridge is for the development of the Kingdom of Waves, and even more so to bring courage to the people of the Kingdom of Waves. It's not terrible to be poor, but the terrible thing is that you can't see hope. You are cowardly and choose to retreat. Everyone thinks like you. How can the country of Bo develop? You are not as good as my 8-year-old grandson. If you still want to leave, I won't stop you. Everyone has his own aspirations and I respect you. But let me tell you, we have already suffered. Do you want future generations to live under Kaduo's shadow? We are the ones who suffer. One generation is enough. Speaking of the latter, Dishonor almost roared out. The workers on the entire bridge heard it clearly. The workers gradually gathered over, and couldn't help trembling all over. Dazna, I choose to follow you because of this bridge is our hope. Inari, In fact, we all owe you an apology. We were the ones who failed to save Keisha, but in our hearts, Keisha has always been a hero in our hearts. Now, we work so hard to build bridges to become heroes in the eyes of future generations." The workers burst into tears, venting their long-standing emotions. Hearing this, both Dasna and Inari couldn't help crying. "Dasna, you were right, I am not as good as your 8-year-old grandson." Kitch knelt on the ground with a thump, and he looked at the bridge in silence for a long time. The eyes of the workers also fell on Keach. After a long time, Ji-Chi took a deep breath and said, "Yes, our generation is enough for those who endure hardships. I don't want future generations to say that I am a bear, and I want to be a hero in their hearts. I have decided, I want to stay and build bridges." "Good, good, good." The zoner said hello 3 times, and said excitedly, "Kiki, and everyone is a hero in my heart. For the sake of future generations, let's fight." "It is good." The workers shouted in unison, and then returned to work one after another, continuing to be busy. Although the task of building the bridge was the same as the previous few days, everyone's face was no longer frowning, but full of smiles, and flames were burning in their eyes. That is the flame called hope. Seeing the workers struggling hard, Naruto couldn't help showing a knowing smile. Maybe he was simply abusing yesterday, but none of this matters. Importantly, his words changed the place and affected these people. As the saying goes, poor people must have hateful things, but poor people also have their own cute things. "Inari, come here." Naruto waved. Inari trotted over. His face was covered with sweat, but his emotions were extremely high. "What's wrong, brother Naruto?" "Yesterday, my words were a bit too much. I apologize to you. Although you look like you are working hard, you are really handsome, relying on your own appearance, come on." Naruto smiled and rubbed Inari's head. Inari shook his head vigorously and said, "No, brother Naruto. People like me deserve scolding. You don't have to apologize to me. Instead, you woke me up by scolding me. I have to thank you. Nothing else, I'm going to work first." As he said that, he trotted to move the wood, and the gloom on his face completely turned into brilliance and sunshine. "Naruto, you did a great job this time." Kakashi was the first to give Naruto a thumbs up. Sakura gave thumbs up with both hands and praised, "Naruto, you look like an older brother now, good job." Naruto smiled, and scratched his head a little embarrassedly. The result this time was completely a mistake, but it also made him feel the pleasure of helping others. It seems that helping others is not such a bad thing. It's just that 2 people praised it, and there was still one short. His eyes could not help falling on Sasuke. Cough cough. Sasuke coughed dryly, pulled his right hand out of his trouser pocket, and extended a thumb to Naruto. "Okay, I admit this time that you did a handsome job." In the next 2 days, more and more workers were led by the zoner, some of whom had left and some had joined. There are many children, even if they don't know how to build bridges, they come to carry logs. The residents of the small town are more energetic than the previous few days. They no longer bow their heads timidly, but hold their heads up bravely. Naruto and the others were naturally happy to see this. Especially Naruto, is full of sense of accomplishment. It's just that the good times didn't last long. On this day, a large white mist quickly rose on the bridge. Although Linhai is prone to fog, but this time the fog is too thick. It's almost reached the point where you can't see your fingers. "This mist seems familiar," Sakura couldn't help but said. Hearing this, Kakashi's face suddenly changed, and he said in a deep voice, "No, I won't cut it again. Sasuke, you go to protect Mr. Dasna. Sakura, you and I go to protect other workers. Naruto, you adapt to the situation. It is best to find the trace of Zabujan as soon as possible." Visibility in the thick fog was extremely low, and with the silent killing technique of no more killing, it was unknown how many people would die. "Kakashi, this method is too slow. The 3 of you guard Dasna, I will go find other workers." Naruto quickly cast multiple shadow clones, and hundreds of clones rushed into the fog, bringing the workers back to Dasna one after another. "The people have been brought back. The 3 of you form a swastika formation to protect these people. I will go find them and kill them," Naruto said to the 3 of Kakashi, and his figure rushed into the thick fog again. But the tension on Naruto's face turned into joy in an instant. He joked, "Come out." After the voice fell, two figures appeared in front of Naruto. It is Teodi and Bai. See Naruto-sama. Okay, if there is no problem, just follow the original plan, and I will withdraw first. Naruto made seals with his hands, and his figure suddenly turned into a cloud of white smoke, which turned out to be just a shadow clone. As for Naruto's body, he used the transformation technique to transform into a worker as early as when he was saving the worker. He didn't want to participate in this battle at all. It can also be said that this plan was carefully planned by him. 2 days ago, he had specially arranged tasks for Zabujan and Bai, and this trip was the itinerary. The first ring is to improve Sasuke's actual combat ability. Sasuke, who owns the double Gyuyu Sharingan, is much better than the original book at the same time. Naruto is looking forward to the contest between Sasuke and Shiro. Whoosh! Not long after, a sound of breaking through the air came from the dense fog. Several flying needles hit Sasuke's vital points directly. Ping ping pong pong. Sasuke's reaction was not unpleasant, and he shot down all the flying needles in an instant when he pulled out kunai. It's just that after the flying needle landed, it turned into a puddle of water. The flying needle is not a cutting tool, but an ice needle formed by condensed water. Sasuke, don't be careless, this is Shueiji boundary ice escape. This time it's not just Zabujan, but also other masters. Kakashi drank in a deep voice. That's true, Naruto is probably in trouble. No, I'll deal with this guy first, so as not to have too many dreams at night. Sasuke said with a frown, and then stepped on his foot, and rushed in the direction of the flying needle. Kakashi wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Sakura, these workers must be guarded by us. No matter what happens to the dense fog, they cannot leave here. Do you hear me? Kakashi felt a little dissatisfied with Sasuke's impulsive behavior of not listening to the arrangement. Naruto, who was standing among the workers, also frowned. At this moment, it is completely impossible to judge the number of enemies. Sasuke is so reckless, and he will suffer a big loss sooner or later. Not even for companions. Fortunately, this action was arranged by Naruto, and there is no need to worry about Sasuke's safety. It's just a duel between Sasuke and Bai, it's hard to predict who will win. Bai understood all the killing techniques of Zabuza, and also developed the ice escape ninjutsu by himself, whose true strength is still higher than Zabuza. In the original book, Shiro was defeated because Naruto went berserk, and Sasuke was already scarred at that time. However, with Shwanguyu Sharingan, and after Naruto's special training for a period of time, Sasuke is also stronger than the original. Of course, in Naruto's heart, Bai has a higher chance of winning. But all of this is Naruto's subjective speculation, and everything depends on the actual combat performance of the two. Quietly put on the Sharingan color contact lenses, the penetrating eye of the kaleidoscope is more than a star and a half stronger than Kakashi's single-eyed three-god jade. The dense fog is not worth mentioning in his eyes, and he can easily see the situation in the dense fog. At this moment, Sasuke had rushed into the thick fog, and tracked Shiro in the direction of the flying needle. In other words, it was Bai who released the water, otherwise, if he changed his position, no matter how much Sasuke tracked him around, he would not be able to find Shiro. Fire escape, great fireball technique. As soon as they met each other, Sasuke quickly formed seals with both hands and performed ninjutsu. Bai just dodged the technique with a slight dodge. However, the smile on Sasuke's face did not diminish, and the big fireball technique showed no sign of stopping. Naruto was confused, but soon understood. Sasuke didn't want to hit anyone at all, and the target of the attack was thick fog from the beginning to the end. The visibility was so low that Sasuke couldn't use his fists at all, and the flame burned the water mist, and after rising and dissipating, an open space with a radius of 10 meters was formed. Practical combat awareness is not bad, if you know how to change into an environment suitable for your own combat, add 1 point. Naruto said silently in his heart. The guy hiding in the fog, finally let you show your true body. Sasuke smiled, looking cool. The next moment, he drew out 2 shurikens and shot at Shiro quickly. Bai's speed was faster, but he still easily dodged. But the smile on Sasuke's face remained undiminished, and when he pulled his hands hard, the 2 shurikens turned around and flew back. This is the chakra line controlling the shuriken. With the faint mist, the chakra line is also perfectly hidden. By the time Bifa found out, it was too late. The chakra line is paired with a shuriken to bind Shiro instantly. Immediately afterwards, Sasuke quickly formed seals with both hands. Fire escape dragon fire technique. Flame spewed out from Sasuke's mouth, and burned towards the bound Shiro along the direction of the chakra line. If this technique hits, it will definitely cause severe burns to Bai. However, at the critical moment, Bai, who was bound, was quickly forming seals with one hand on his side. Bing Yun Bing Yantangwu. Bai calmly opened his mouth, and as the seal formed, a wall of ice condensed in front of him. Ice escape, after all, has a nature superior to fire escape. It is difficult for a fire escape of the same level to melt Bai's ice escape. The bright yellow flames were all extinguished the moment they touched the ice wall. Sasuke couldn't believe it. How is it possible, you can make seals with one hand? Rao is the Uchiha clan with many geniuses, only that man can do it. Is the enemy in front of him a genius ninja of Itachi's level? Thinking of this, flames rose in Sasuke's eyes. Whoosh! Bai used the substitute technique to escape from the shackles of the chakra string. The flying needle pierced out again, but was still easily blocked by Sasuke. Seeing that this move was ineffective, Bai stepped back and quickly formed seals with both hands. It seems that I have to show my real skills. Secret technique ice escape barrier magic mirror ice crystal. After the words fell, a mirror made of ice appeared around Sasuke out of thin air. Sasuke's pupils shrank slightly, and his expression gradually became dignified. He still pays more attention to the blood succession limit. Without much thought, his figure suddenly retreated. But before he took a few steps back, an ice mirror appeared behind him. This time, without waiting for Sasuke to leave, one-person high ice mirrors appeared one after another, not only completely surrounded Sasuke's body, but also superimposed the height of 3 mirrors, and there were even several mirrors in the uppermost sky, completely blocking the possibility of escaping from above. From Naruto's point of view, it looks like an ice fortress. Now, Sasuke is in danger. A playful look appeared in Naruto's eyes. Small fights can't stimulate Sasuke at all, nor can it enhance his actual combat ability. Only in the face of desperation can people stimulate their potential. There are no exceptions to this sentence. I saw Bai slowly walking towards a mirror, and his whole body actually gradually walked into the mirror. From 3-dimensional to 2-dimensional plane, it is really a 2-dimensional character. With the injection of white, all the mirrors reflect the white figure. In Sasuke's field of vision, there seemed to be countless Shiro surrounding him. HMPH, worm carving trick. Sasuke snorted coldly. In his opinion, this was a simple cover-up. No one can appear in all mirrors at the same time. Unless it is multiple shadow clones. But ordinary shadow clones only have 1/10 of the power of the main body, which is not enough at all. Art fire escape ho fireball. Sasuke quickly formed seals with both hands, and cast a fire escape attack on a mirror. A raging fire spurted violently from his mouth, such a high temperature, ordinary mirrors can't bear it at all. However, his fire cannot melt the mirror. Not only that, but the moment he breathed out the fire, several scars appeared on his body. When he reacted, he didn't know how to call pain for a while. No part of the body is intact. How can that be? Sasuke couldn't believe the facts in front of him, not to mention that his fire attack was ineffective. He didn't even understand why he was hurt. Unfortunately, your flame temperature is still not interesting. Bai opened his mouth lightly, and then he threw out a flying needle. Sasuke took out kunai to resist, but in the next moment, he was horrified to find that there were flying needles not only in front of him, but also flying needles all around him. He couldn't understand how Bai did it. Just when he was struggling to resist the flying needle, large wounds appeared on his body again. This is impossible. Sasuke was completely taken aback. He has already blocked the flying needle, why is he still injured? Open. His eyes froze, and his pitch-black pupils instantly turned into scarlet twin eyes. One of the abilities of Sharingan, Inside Eye. This time Sasuke took the initiative to attack, and widened his eyes, trying to see the attack through the inside eye. Whoosh! He flew the shuriken toward a mirror, and the next thing he saw was a black shadow. After carefully concentrating the ability of the inside eye, he finally saw the attack clearly. Bai jumped out of the mirror, and then fell into another mirror after attacking. In just 1 second, he slashed hundreds of knives. Sasuke only felt that he was relatively still. Even though he could see Shiro's attack method, he was completely unable to fight back. It's really too fast. Is this the ice escape secret technique? It is also the boundary of blood successor. Sasuke even felt that Sharingan was not as good as Shiro's Bingdun. For ordinary ninjas, Sharingan can copy insights and create a myth that is almost invincible in the same rank. But in the face of the blood successor boundary ninja, he can't copy it at all, and his insight can see it and can't stop it, which makes Sasuke feel powerless. At this moment, facing Shiro, Sasuke felt unprecedented pressure. It's just that his eyes are not afraid and timid, but full of fighting spirit. Come again. Unwilling to fail, Sasuke quickly formed seals with both hands, and even used the shadow clone. Although not as many as Naruto has, there are 5. Compared with the graduation assessment, there has been a significant improvement. Sasuke rushed towards different mirrors with his shadow clone. His momentum was indomitable. But both Shiro and Naruto, who was watching the battle, couldn't help shaking their heads and sighing. It is a good thing to be so fearless, but a mindless fearless attack will only waste chakra. In Naruto's words, this is a reckless man. Sure enough, Shiro shuttled through the mirror again, and Sasuke's 5 shadow clones were all blown into white smoke and dissipated from the spot. I don't believe it anymore. Come again. Sasuke passed through the white smoke, throwing several shurikens angrily. However, it seemed that Sasuke was too eager for quick success, and the shurikens collided with each other before hitting the mirror and flew away. Hey, why is Sasuke doing this? Naruto kept shaking his head. He thought that training Sasuke would make Sasuke stronger. Now it seems that it is simply unsightly. This rubbish way of fighting is completely nonsense, and it doesn't have the fighting mind of Sasuke in the original book. But before Naruto could finish complaining, there was a boom, and an ice mirror shattered. What's happening here? Naruto looked at Shiro in puzzlement, but saw that Bai was also bewildered. Looking at Sasuke again, standing in the ice mirror, with a smile on the corner of his mouth, he is completely different from the recklessness just now. How could you break through my secret technique? Eyes full of doubt. Since you don't know, let's do it again. Sasuke snapped his fingers. In the next moment, an ice mirror shattered again. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly, and the insight ability of Sharingan reached its limit. This time, he found a clue. Sasuke didn't follow what he said, but just played a basic trick. Through the inside eye, Naruto clearly discovered that Sasuke was still hidden in the thick fog. Obviously, just now Sasuke didn't fight madly, but through the Uchiha clan's precise control of the shuriken, he deliberately made the shuriken contradict itself and made mistakes. Only by doing so, Bai will be careless. After the shuriken was delicately controlled, it flew out of the ice crystal of the magic mirror. This secret technique is internal and not external. Sasuke, who is outside at the moment, can easily destroy these ice mirrors. As for why Sasuke is outside, this is the simplest combat knowledge. Sasuke deliberately separated the shadow clone, on the one hand to let Shiro relax his vigilance, and on the other hand, the white smoke released by the shadow clone blocked Shiro's sight. Thinking about it, Sasuke turned his body into a shuriken when Bai Yan appeared, and threw it out through the shadow clone. This series of operations resulted in the present situation. The principle of several steps is very simple, but it can be thought of and implemented in such a short time. I have to say that Sasuke's fighting ability is too powerful. Even Naruto was really amazed. You actually deceived me from my god's perspective, Sasuke, you're so good. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.